Something's different.
I'm changing.
I don't know if I like who I'm becoming.
Boyd, there are a lot of people wanting to know what happened down there.
Mom, where's Dad? Why isn't he back yet?
Tabitha, we need to talk. It means everything they showed us. It's real. I think they're doing it to make us afraid.
Well, then it worked.
There is something ancient here. And it's feeding off our suffering, and it doesn't stop.
We're losing. We're running out of time and we still don't know the goddamn rules. There is no way to fight back against those things. Everything we've done, every sacrifice we've made, none of us are going anywhere.
You think you're some kind of hero? You're a monster. Lord, please protect us in this dark place where evil roams so freely. This we ask in your name. Amen.
One way or another, the truth always comes out.
I would make sure it doesn't.
Okay then,
And
dogs.
here it is.
You don't subscribe to Jeremy Eyes and Fire, you're gonna spend the night in the box.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The From Season 4 full official trailer is finally here. And man, oh man, do we have quite a lot to unpack in this trailer. They showed way more than I thought they would, and I am loving every second of it. Tons of stuff to get through. This trailer really was just absolutely insane from start to finish, and definitely gives us a much better idea as to some of the things we can expect in Season 4 now. But holy cow, phenomenal trailer, and we are going to dive into it. We are going to dive into it and break down every frame, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome one, welcome all. Came a little bit earlier. I remember yesterday a few of us in the Discord were thinking it was coming around noon or 3 p.m. Pacific, but it looks like it came even earlier than that. So yeah, that trailer is actually insane. It really is. It was an actually insane trailer. Elgin's gonna snitch. I know. We got so much to talk about. We do. We have so much to talk about. So much. It looked great. It looked really, really good. Yeah, I jumped in when, yeah, you see, there's so much to dive into here. Fuck. Love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, so much here. Let's see who we got in this awesome chat, and then we will dive right in. What is up, Martin? Good to see you as well. We got Pam Jam. We got Justin in the house. We got Thomas Shelby. What is up, Thomas Shelby? Pinch Jeremy. We got Luke Starkill in the house. Jeremy, hurry up. I'm coming, guys. I promise. We got May Kent in the house. What is up, May Kent? Good to see you as well. We got Nadine in the building. What is up, Nadine? We got Kevin in the house. Welcome one. Welcome all. I see Catherine in there as well. Awesome to see all of the Fromily people in the house. Love to see it. Welcome, Samuel. Welcome. We got David in here. What is up, David? Good to see you, my friend. Welcome. We got Fromily. Oh, gee, Jade's going to become a monster. Oof. Now, that would be very unfortunate for Jade. It would be and me as well. Jade's my favorite character. I don't want to see anything happen to Jade. But he did look like he was in a pretty hairy situation there. That is for sure. We got the fucking cowboy in the house. Did we see the fucking cowboy in the trailer? I'll have to go back and, we're going to watch it frame by frame. We're going to put it on slow-mo and get through all of those little bits that flash by really quick. We're going to take a look at everything. Because there was a lot. There was a lot in this trailer. Way more than I thought they were going to show us. for sure. Way more than I thought. But yeah, welcome one, welcome all. So glad to see each and every one of you in here. Did anyone see Kenny? Again, another good question. Just off the top of my head, I only watched the trailer twice, like super quick. So even, I need to dissect it a little bit more, but yeah, we're going to have to see who's here, who isn't here. I believe we did see Kenny. I believe my brain recollects seeing a little flash of Kenny, but I'm not sure. But we shall see. We shall see. Are they breaking Boyd? Are they breaking Boyd for him to become the new Man in Yellow? Oof, interesting. Now, this has been, one thing that has been pretty interesting. I know a lot of theories started to pop up, in between season 3 and 4 after the Man in Yellow reveal happened. A lot of people started to kind of equate Boyd and all of the yellow shirts that he's always wearing. And, some people started to theorize if he's going to become the next Man in Yellow. Which who knows what the show is going to do at this point. It looks like we got a giant freaking scarecrow coming to life, or whatever that giant doll thing was. So we're definitely going very well into kind of weird supernatural territory this season, it seems. A lot of us were wondering if we were going to get some new monsters. It looks like we're getting some new monsters. And we did get that casting call about this new colonial woman monster that I'm not sure we even saw a glimpse of in the trailer. But again, have to go back and take a look at all of it. But yeah, a lot of good stuff here. A lot of good stuff here. Let's see. Let me pull this up. We will play it, and we will take a look at it, and we will dissect it, and we will discuss amongst ourselves. But first, got to play it one more time, right? Got to play it one more time. Yeah, Cannibal Village creatures. And I guess, if nothing else, did we maybe just find out who was doing the knocking at Cannibal Village? That was one question that we all had at the end of season 3. We hear all this knocking at Cannibal Village when our characters are spending the nights in those little cabins. Hear all this footsteps outside, hear the knocking on the cabin. We wondered, what exactly was it? Did we just find out what it was? Was that the thing that was doing the knocking, maybe? And could that potentially be the thing that little Tabitha was terrified of as well? Yeah, it looks like we're maybe getting some answers here. But here we go. Let's play it one more time. Here we go.
Something's different. I am changing. I don't know if I like who I'm becoming.
Boyd, there are a lot of people wanting to know what happened down there.
Where's Dad? Why isn't he back yet?
Tabitha, we need to talk. It means everything they showed us. It's real. I think they're doing it to make us afraid.
Well, then it worked.
There is something ancient here. And it's feeding off our suffering, and it doesn't stop.
We're losing. We're running out of time, and we still don't know the goddamn rules. There is no way to fight back against those things. Everything we've done, every sacrifice we've made, none of us are going anywhere.
You think you're some kind of hero? You're a monster. Lord, please protect us in this dark place where evil roams so freely. This we ask in your name. Amen.
One way or another, the truth always comes out.
I would make sure it doesn't.
Here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is here. Oh, we don't want to watch this. We want to go back to the trailer. We want to go back to the trailer. Okay, yeah, so much to unpack there, right? So much. Yeah, a lot of we see some paranormal activity happening in Fromville. That's absolutely Petra. And what was very interesting, it looks like the paranormal activity, the cabinets flinging, open and shut. It looks like that is what revealed the ring. We see the ring kind of drop out of one of those cabinets that has the infinity symbol on it. And of course, the infinity symbol was on the cave wall right from the beginning of the season. It's had many parallels and symbolism with the show in terms of the infinite cycles that our characters are going in. I imagine that is what the infinity symbol will be revealed to mean, that these cycles are, they're in a loop. They're stuck in this loop of cycles. But yeah, it looks like we got some proper paranormal activity for sure. All right, let's see. Let's dive into this. Yeah, the infinity symbol inside the ring. That's just my personal interpretation of it. I suppose it could mean something totally different. But when I see that infinity symbol, it reminds me of the constant cycles that we're seeing in Fromville. We did learn in season 3 that Jade and Tabitha are just one of many different reincarnated versions of their original selves that have been pulled here into Fromville over the generations. And it seems like every single time a reincarnation gets pulled in here, they always tend to fail to, quote unquote, save the children. So I think that's what the infinity symbol is maybe referring to, just referring to this infinite loop, this cycle of repeating history that keeps happening over and over again. But yeah, the doll was creepy. What is up, PM? Hi, everyone. Trailer so good. PM, the link is in your email. If you want to hop on and join, the link is in your email. But yeah, it really was so good. I wasn't sure what to expect with the full trailer. How much were they going to show us? How much were they not going to show us? And we got to see a good quite amount. They showed us a lot. Like, they showed us quite a lot. Oh, it's not. Oh, let me double check. I thought I sent it. I'll send it again. They did. They showed us so much. Oh my God! There's so much here to unpack, and we are going to unpack it. A lot of good stuff there. I saw someone saying they're probably going to discover Jim's body in the first episode. Looks like it. It looks like we're going to be hitting the ground running. It looks like what we thought earlier is going to be the case, that Tabitha and Jade returned to town, assuming that Jim just was going to return to town as well. Because we see that one scene in the trailer of Ethan asking Tabitha, saying, "Hey, where's Dad? It's getting dark soon." So it looks like Tabitha and Jade just, after they kind of came back down to reality after learning what they learned, it looks like they kind of just returned to town and just assumed Jim was going to return to town soon. And that's when we get to the discovery of Jim's body, which it looks like we were also potentially correct, that it looks like maybe his head or part of his body is hanging from the motel sign, as we see something in a bloody sack hanging from the motel sign. And then we also see that reaction of Tabitha when she gets close to the barn. I wouldn't be surprised if Jim's head is hanging from the motel sign and his body is discovered in the barn. And I know that's what some other people were saying in the Discord as well. And that was my thought too. But welcome, PM. So much. We got so much here to dive into. Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Hi, I can't even believe it. I cannot even believe that the trailer is here. I really thought that it was going to drop in the afternoon, so I was
Me too.
super surprised when I saw that it drops this early. But just initial thoughts, it's amazing, okay? It was worth the wait. I think
Worth the
that
wait. Worth the wait.
yes, it's a little bit different. I do notice that the quality, it has like a higher quality level than the previous trailers that we have gotten for the previous
Exactly. This is closer to the fuller, final, polished version of the show that we'll really get. When they release those early 30-second teasers, it's never the fully finished version. They're usually working on post-production right up to release sometimes. But that you're absolutely right. This looked way crisper.
It did. But even when you compare it to like season 3 trailers or
Mhm.
the first season, the quality level has been upped, and
Mhm.
also the colors. Another thing that I love about From is that if you're watching any show nowadays, everything is either super dark or just
Yeah,
shades of beige, just
yeah.
beige and white.
We see a
But this
lot of
is so bright.
monotoned shows. Like
Mhm.
that's one thing I love Game of Thrones. I loved Game of Thrones up until the ending at least. Love a song love A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, but one thing that HBO has a really bad problem with is their color grading. They have really bad color grading for some of their shows where you have like this almost what appears to be this kind of gray tone filter layered over the final finished version, and it gives it like I get what they're going for. They're going for this kind of this aesthetic, but it just comes across as bad color grading. But the color grading in this looks phenomenal.
It does. The color grading is very aesthetically pleasing. And you know what? It's really nice to see the cast in Nova Scotia surrounded by shades of bright green, because we
Yeah.
know that they had to go through it when they were
Yes.
filming last season. They were just going through
Yeah.
the worst
Yeah.
weather. All of the snow,
Yeah.
right? They didn't think it was going to be
Yeah.
that cold.
Yeah.
A lot of
Winter's
the
finally
actors.
gone. Yeah.
And
Looks
now
like the
we get to
warm
see them
weather's
in
back
this
finally.
bright, yeah, we get to see them in this
Mhm.
luscious, bright green Nova Scotia, and it looks beautiful. Just initial thoughts, it is. I think we got a lot. I haven't even been able
Yes.
to fully digest everything
I
that they
know, me
showed us,
too. Me
but I
too.
think that that's a good sign. I think that
It
they
is.
put so much in the trailer because, like they said, it's time for us to get some answers. So that means that
Yeah.
we're probably going to be moving very quickly. And I
Yeah.
think the fans are going to be very pleased. We know that the
Yeah.
fans didn't like the slow burn. Some of them wanted answers, right? More
Yeah.
quickly. And it looks like this is the
Looks like
season
it's
where
it.
everything's going to be moving quickly. Yes.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. 100% agree with you. I mean, just based off this trailer alone, it looks like we're finally not only getting answers, but it looks like they're showing us and not just telling us through exposition. And that is super exciting. We saw flashbacks to young Tabitha and the thing that she was afraid of, which I get the feeling is probably that giant doll monster that we see in the trailer that is crashing into the freaking cabins. I guess we know who was doing the knocking. There's this trailer revealed quite a lot, and Jason Thomas asked, the trailer usually covers the first 4 to 5 episodes, right? Usually, I mean, if historically, if you go back and look at all of the From trailers, especially season 3 in particular, the full official From season 3 trailer, none of the scenes in the trailer are. There's nothing that is shown past episode 5 in the season 3 trailer. Basically, if you look at that season 3 trailer, it's comprised of scenes that are only from the first 4 episodes, and that's one thing I've always really enjoyed about From. They usually tend to not put any scenes from the second half of their season in the trailers. They've usually done this with every season, and you can go back and check. Like if you look at the trailers, you'll see scenes from the first 4 episodes. Like that is what they use to cut the trailers. But we got so much in this trailer. I'm not sure if they did that again this year. Like we got so freaking much. If everything we saw in this trailer was just from the first 4 episodes, then this is going to be a crazy season because we saw so much in this trailer.
Mhm.
Inclined to believe that maybe they didn't follow that same pattern again this season, but who knows?
I would agree with you. I would agree with you. And I think that it makes sense because you and I have been discussing this, right? In every live stream that has been leading up to this.
Yeah.
This season, a war is coming. There has to be a fight, a massive war that will be fought for either freedom or for complete and total failure, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that means that this is where we're going to get all of the action. We're going to
Yes.
be getting the answers that we need because the war is coming. It's going to be
This is
whoever
going to
the
be the worst of
entity,
it. This is going to be the
exactly.
worst of it. Yeah.
This is going to be the worst of it. And I'm thinking the season after that would be the aftermath,
Yeah.
seeing what actually happens after they fought this great big war with whatever entity is keeping them in from.
Yeah.
But already from the trailer, we are getting so much of the storyline, which of course we would, because they need these tools in order to fight against whatever entity is trapping them and from. I
Yeah.
also really like, just to mention very quickly, Jade. So Tabitha's still running away. We know if Tabitha likes anything, it is running away. That is
Mhm.
Tabitha's deal. She loves running away. She loves just ignoring what is happening, right?
Yeah.
Shutting it
No, no, no,
out.
no, no. No, 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 no. No, no,
But
no, no, no.
Jade is not having it. Jade
No.
goes over to her house and says,
We gotta
Tabitha,
talk. Yeah, we
we
gotta
need,
talk about this.
and I really love that
And
energy.
I love that energy, and it looks like he even follows that energy up with action, because then we see in the trailer later on that he's actually going down into the caves by himself again because he wants these answers. So I love it. I love what looks to be the trajectory for Jade's character this season, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Jade and Tabitha attacking this information from two totally opposite responses. I think that would be very fitting for their characters, given what we know about them up until this point. I think it makes total sense that that Tabitha would run away from it and Jade would run closer towards it. That's the kind of mind that Jade has. He has that naturally inquisitive mind. He naturally wants to figure out how things work, how to figure this out, how to get everybody home. And of
Mhm.
course, he wants to prove that he's the smartest man in the room all the time, which he usually is. And Tabitha has proven that she does like to run away from her problems. She doesn't like to face them head on. She likes to avoid them for as long as she possibly can. So I wouldn't be surprised throughout the first episode or two, we do see, Jade going like super hard, trying to go forward towards it, and Tabitha kind of doing everything she can to avoid it.
No, no,
Um,
no, no, no. You guys are
no,
so right in the chat. No, 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 no. However, I do like that. And I totally get that perspective. I love the energy. I think that
me too. Me too.
Jade is going to be the person that pushes Tabitha, one,
Yes.
to work
Yes.
together,
Yep.
and then two, pushing her to get answers, to view things in a different way. Now, I will give Tabitha the following. Jade doesn't have children and from.
Yep.
Jade is just a single guy. He's trying to do his best so that he could get everybody home, right? To figure out what
Yep.
he needs to do. But he
Mhm.
doesn't have anybody else to really worry about, right? He doesn't have children there.
Mhm.
Tabitha does have Ethan and Julie. And now that they're going to find out that Jim has died because of knowledge coming with a great cost,
Yep.
I think that Tabitha will be hesitant to look for more answers if it's costing her her family. Whereas
Mhm.
Jade doesn't really have that. He had Toby,
Yeah.
and we all know our beloved Sarah handled him. Um, but Tabitha does have Ethan and Julie to worry about. So we do
Yeah.
see that Julie is experimenting with her story walking.
Yep.
So
We do
that
see
puts
that.
Julie
And
at
we
an
figured that would be the case. She'd try and get better at it, especially once she finds out that her dad's dead. It's going to set her on that path to becoming the Julie we saw at the end of season 3, the future version.
yes, yes. And we do get a small shot of Ethan talking to Jim, what looks like Jim maybe saying a final goodbye to Ethan. And we're gonna be seeing Jim
Yeah,
for
Jim
all of
Jim was in the trailer, yes. It's
Mhm.
super quick, but we do see Jim talking to Ethan in the trailer. Um, and I wanted to get your opinion on this because you've been paying very close attention to these Cautry apparitions that have been showing up and these Tom ones and these subtle kind of differences between some of the appearances that when Cautry does show up. And we did see in this trailer that it looks like the man in yellow might potentially have some shape shifting capabilities. Like we see that one shot of him in the woods where it looks like his body is literally transforming. So part of me is starting to wonder if maybe the man in yellow was maybe behind some of these dead characters showing up. And maybe
Yes.
he's disguised himself as Jim.
Yes, so that is what we were talking about in the live stream, that
Yep.
these apparitions, these ghosts, if you will, that we are seeing, they are not
Yes, Golden
making
Child got it. The man in yellow
um
shape shifts into Jim. That's his favorite part. Love
Oh
that.
my God.
Love that.
Okay, so I love that golden child because then that opens up the possibility that nobody finds out that Jim is dead and that the man in yellow pretends to be Jim the entire time.
Love that. That's super. I mean, I like that. I like that golden child. That's a good one. That
Yeah,
is a good
but
one.
like I was saying about the
Mm.
ghost, um, the apparitions that we have received from Kotri and Tom sometimes are not matching the people and the characters that we knew. They go directly against some of the things that they said while they were living. And they're working against the program at times, like Kotri was at the finale, where he was keeping Boyd from funding
Yeah.
Fatima.
Yeah.
I do believe that
And
that was the men in yellow. And how
yeah.
we put that together is the only other person that has not been in the room and knows everything about what was said was the man in yellow. He knows everybody's name, right? He called them on the phone. I think he is
And
behind
we
the
see
phone
his
calls.
clothes buried. We literally see his clothes buried, almost like he's
Mhm.
hiding his suit when when he dresses up as another character. And, you know, like I think that's what we're seeing here. He shapeshifts into someone else, puts on a different set of clothes, hides his good old fashioned yellow suit, and maybe that's why it always looks so disheveled because he's fucking burying it and fucking nonstop and putting it back on.
He's not being very careful for wearing yellow and such a bright yellow. He's not being very careful with that suit. I think that the boy in white could potentially give him some laundering tips. But
Yeah.
um, like we were saying about the men in yellow being the ghosts, the apparitions, it would be completely fitting that he is the apparition because he's the one that has knowledge about everything without necessarily being in the room. And
Yep.
so my theory is that he is Martin. We have been looking for
He
Martin,
might be.
but I
He
don't
might be
I
Martin.
don't think that
I
that
thought he
Martin is
locked up
someone else.
Martin. I thought he was the one who locked up Martin originally. I thought the man in yellow was the
Mhm.
one who imprisoned Martin, but now I think you're right. I think maybe he was pretending to be Martin.
I think that he was pretending to be Martin because he knew everything that was being said,
Yeah.
and yet he wasn't somebody that they saw around town. We have seen him talk to Jim. He knew all of the names. He knew Julie, right? He knew these people. Now, if the man in yellow is Martin, that
Mhm.
means that we have been thinking that he was released when Tabitha and Jade, remember when they uncooed. Maybe if he is Martin, that means that he has been out and about for a while because he
Oh,
was
well, he
chained
clearly
up.
has. We know he
He
was the
was,
voice on the other end of the radio at the end of season one. So I think he's been in the background just watching everything the whole time,
yes.
hiding in plain
So he's
sight,
been in the background
hiding in
watching, but
plain
a
sight.
phone call, maybe he could
Mhm.
have made the phone call while he was trapped, while he
Uh-huh.
was right.
Okay.
Maybe he physically couldn't get out, but he was privy to all of the information because he could see and hear everything. And the way that they had trapped them in from was by chaining him up. He was Martin.
Mhm.
And he was released when Boyd helped him escape.
Yeah.
So he has been out and about for a while. It wasn't Tabitha and Jade uncooing that made him come to life or be released. He was
Hmm.
released when Boyd freed him.
Interesting. Interesting. It could be. It could very well be. Yeah, I mean, just based on what we got in this trailer alone, it looks like we're heading into some interesting territory that even I didn't think we would be heading into, like the big doll scarecrow monster, you know, that giant freaking monster thing. Maybe Taryn was right. Maybe we're even going to see freaking Bigfoot at this point. It looks like we're very well heading into like firm supernatural territory in season four, and I love that. It always seemed from the very beginning. I know there was a lot of debate as to whether or not like where the show is going to be going, even though the show is officially classified as sci-fi. There's not a whole lot. There's some sci-fi elements to it, but this is very much a supernatural show at its core, and
Yes.
that is something I'm very happy that it is. I was very hoping that we were going to go further and further into supernatural territory and not into sci-fi territory. But yeah, we got a lot here. But yeah, the man in yellow. it looks like he might potentially be a shapeshifter. And someone saw in the chat, he was doing some straight up Pennywise shit out in the woods. Don't undersell it. You're right. I mean, it was like some straight up Pennywise stuff out there. It looked, and it even looked exactly like the one form of Pennywise that we did see in Welcome to Derry, that old man form of Pennywise that we did see on the show. That looks exactly like the man in yellow in that shot. But
well, following up, sorry to interrupt you, but
no.
The Pennywise connection that you guys are making in the chat is very, very on point. And you have evidence for that chat. I would like to add to your theory, the collective theory we're working on now. Pennywise is a cosmic entity. I know that a lot of people know him as a clown, but if you are a fan of Pennywise, you know that he is a cosmic entity. He's not really the clown. And who else would be a cosmic entity? We have been theorizing for a while, some of us, that the Man in Yellow is this cosmic entity that has been around for a very long time, that it's ancient. And we see Mariel in the trailer say there is something that is keeping them here, something that is ancient. So he may be, yes, he may be very much in the same league as Pennywise. And also in the chat, somebody said he is the spider. There is no other big spider that's coming. He shapeshifts into a spider at times. So he could have been terrorizing the people that were making the depictions of what they lived through in the wall. And he was shapeshifting into that red Cthulhu figure, which is why they depicted that red Cthulhu figure. And it was him all along. The answers are more simple than we thought. It's all the Man in Yellow.
Maybe. And that's what it could potentially be. We might find out that the Man in Yellow might have been the puppet master behind a lot more things than we originally realized, which we have discussed here on the channel multiple times too. So if that is the case, that would be pretty cool. But let's do this. We're going to play the trailer from the very beginning, and we're gonna dissect it together. We'll play a few seconds at a time, pause it, talk a little bit, play a few more seconds, talk about it, and continue so on and so forth. That way we can cover every little bit of it. Here we go.
Something's different.
I am changing.
I don't know if I like who I'm becoming.
All right. That's a good little section to dissect. We'll start with that. Let's go back to the beginning and start with Boyd. All right. Now, we knew from the little teaser trailer we saw earlier, we had a feeling that Boyd was going to be visiting his wife's grave when we saw that little snippet of the arm reaching up and pulling him down. So here we see, yes, he very much is visiting Abby, and it's looking like Abby is reaching from beyond the grave. Now, is this a vision that Boyd is having, or is this the Man in Yellow playing a trick on Boyd? I guess that's really the case, because it certainly probably is not really Abby returning from the dead. Although, who knows what the hell the show is going to even be capable of at this point, based on everything else we've saw in this trailer. So who knows really what that is. But it looks like Boyd is very conflicted here, nonetheless, regardless of any of the circumstances, whether it's a vision or real, Boyd is definitely becoming conflicted. And obviously, we talked about this. We had a feeling Boyd was going to feel very guilty over what he did to Elgin, even though he did it for what he felt were the right reasons at the time, even though I probably would have done the same thing in his shoes. We know the kind of person that Boyd is. When the dust settles, he is going to have it in his mind that he tortured a teenager, regardless for the reason. Boyd is he's just, that's the kind of person that Boyd is. He's going to feel bad for something like that. So I think that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing him visit his wife and, kind of confide in her, looking for some solace there and, getting a little bit afraid of the kind of person that he might be coming. What lines will he cross next, And I love this little internal conflict, this internal struggle within Boyd, where he does question himself every once in a while. There's nothing worse than a hero type character that just never questions themselves, that just just keeps going. And Boyd, he does. He stops. He questions himself. He wonders if he's doing the right thing at times. And that's why I think Cautry was such a vital tool for Boyd to have when he was alive. Cawtrey was that ear that he could lean on. Cawtrey was that voice that would cut right through the bullshit and just give it to Boyd straight. And I think Boyd needs that kind of person in his life, now that Cawtrey's gone and now that his wife's gone, I imagine his wife probably played a similar role in his life before she passed, that kind of role, cutting through the bullshit and just telling Boyd like it is. I think Boyd needs that. And it just looks like he's worried. He's worried, what other lines will I cross if I was willing to hurt a kid like this? What else am I capable of doing? And that could scare a person, not knowing what you're capable of.
Yes. And I think Kenny might rise up to the occasion because he has been under Boyd's leadership for a while, but he's coming into his own. Kenny really is empowering and embodying the role that he takes in town. So perhaps as he's descending into this madness of control and power, Kenny might be there to call him out because his wife is not there and Cawtrey is not
Kenny
there.
could be,
But
or
Kenny
Ellis.
could be who takes him away from power, who
Yeah.
realizes, Boyd, I know you too well. You are changing in a negative way. I'm taking over. So
Yeah.
it might not be a handout of passing down power, but it might just be Kenny taking it from Boyd because he's gonna notice. He knows Boyd very well. He spent a lot of time with him. And I think that he's going to notice immediately that Boyd is not himself, that he is not okay.
Yeah.
Now,
I think so.
For people, when you are afraid, and I don't think that Boyd has experienced fear the way that he is experiencing fear and From. We know that he came from a line of work where his job was very stressful in the real world. He was working at times of war for the United States Army, right? So that is a very stressful job. He had a job where he had to create order during times of war and
Or a lot
chaos.
of chaos, yeah.
So he is a very controlled man. He is somebody that is used to experiencing chaos, but not like From. I
Not
think
like
he's
this.
never
This is
experienced
different. Yeah.
he's never experienced fear the way that he's experiencing fear now. Now, when you're truly afraid, some people they descend into control. The more afraid that you are, the more that you want to
And that's
control the
exactly what we
people
saw
you are
Jim doing.
leading.
That's picture perfect for what we saw Jim doing. He was afraid and he was trying to hold on to control of his family too much. And he only finally recognized that right at the end of season 3 before he passed. He realized he was trying to, hold on to that control too much. And yeah, I could definitely see Boyd maybe potentially having a similar mindset where, someone like him who's always used to being in control, if he suddenly feels out of control, yeah, you'd think he would want to double down and try to white knuckle it, and trying his best to keep things on kilt as long as he possibly can, even though he knows himself inside is holding on by a thread.
Well, you go overboard. I would say you tend towards control, and this is how you get dictators. You make people afraid, which we see him doing. He is becoming a dictator instead of the government and From, because he did stand for law and order. But law and order has a balance. And now we see him going further than that. We see him telling Elgin, I will make sure that the truth doesn't get out. And
Yeah,
Elgin
well, yeah.
says the truth always gets out.
Yeah.
So you see that he is now threatening Elgin in a way. Or perhaps he is helping Elgin. It could be either or. He could be telling Elgin, don't tell anybody about your eye, that who did
Mhm.
that to you and
Mhm.
why. Or it could be him trying to control the narrative so that nobody finds out that Elgin kidnapped Fatima. Like it's
Mhm.
okay the same way that he
Yeah,
did
we
for
don't have the
Sarah.
full context. That's a good point. I
So
mean,
it could be him helping Elgin. It
yeah.
could be like the same way he did for Sarah, saying, it's okay, go ahead and join the town. I will never let them find out what you did to Fatima. Let's just move on, right? I will make sure that they don't find out. And Elgin could be terrified, like they're gonna find out. They're gonna find out what I did, right?
Could be, yeah. And that's the thing with these trailers. When you see a shot like that in isolation, I think naturally our brains want to think that this is Boyd kind of threatening Elgin in a sense, telling him, you better keep quiet. I'll make sure, nobody finds out. But we don't have the full context. It could be the exact opposite, like you just mentioned, where Elgin is saying, people are going to find out about this, Boyd. And Boyd's saying, I won't let them. So yeah, we don't have the full context. That is a very good point. And that's what's fun about these trailers. They cut these trailers in ways where sometimes what you think is happening is not what is happening at all. But here's where it gets a little, here's where the trailer gets a little bit fun, because after we get these little scenes of Boyd sitting at the grave with Abby, that's when, the trailer has these few moments where we just get these flashes of just quick little shots, and it's, not much context to them, but very mysterious nonetheless. And we're going to take a look at them. I put this thing on slow-mo so we can make sure we pause it on all of them and take a good look at them. But there's some interesting stuff here. Here we see the hand reaching up. And one thing we saw, and I know people recognize this from the 30-second teaser, is, it doesn't look like it's Abby's hand, because you look at the hand, like the hand looks like it's got like black fingertips, similar to kind of almost the Man in Yellow's hand in a sense. I saw a lot of people making that correlation, that this hand looks similar to the Man in Yellow's hand with the black fingertips, because the Man in Yellow did have black fingertips like that, at least at the end of season 3. So this could be the Man in Yellow screwing with Boyd. It might not be a vision.
Well, if we go with the theory that I put forth, the Man in Yellow is all of the apparitions. So we have never really seen Abby. So it is Abby.
I don't think we've ever seen Abby.
It is the Man in Yellow shape-shifted into Abby. That is what it is, right? So we have never seen Abby. So this is the Man in Yellow. So we are correct on both things. It is Abby, apparition. But that apparition is because the Man in Yellow has shape-shifted into Abby. He is everybody that appears before the characters after they have died. He is him. Now, we were talking about if they're gonna bring Abby back to life, right? Is she gonna come back to life? It reminds me of something that Jade said. They come with you when you go. Could it potentially mean that if they are able to successfully save the children, which is the mission, saving the children, that everybody that ever died is released and the entire town gets to go home? Could that be? And also Jade says energy can be destroyed or created. He believes it's trapped in From. Could it be that if our characters are successful, it's not just the people that are alive that get to go home, but they release every single person that ever lived in From and died in From. They go with you when you go.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, that could have been a foreshadowing or a hint to that later on. I mean, it was a very nice sentiment from Jade at the time. And for those who don't remember, we had that scene at the end of season 1 where Jade is consoling Tian Chen. And he's telling her, right after Tian Chen loses her husband, right after Kenny's dad dies. And he is one of the first times that we ever really see this side of Jade, the side of Jade that is a little bit more serious, a little bit more kind of sensitive. He's usually not very serious, and that's usually by design. But here we saw a different side to him for the first time. And he's telling him, yes, he's recounting the story that he was told about they come with you when you go. And I think that could be an interesting concept, that if our survivors do successfully make it out of here and successfully complete whatever quote unquote quest they need to complete, and everything does get reversed or they do get released, when they go home, do all of these trapped spirits potentially go with them?
I grew up in France with my grandma. She died when I was 12. I had to come back to the States. I was crying at the airport. And this nice lady bought me a soda. I told her what was wrong. She said to me, they come with you when you go. I guess what I'm just trying to say is, don't be sad. I'll come with you when you go.
There we go.
And you know what was also interesting, though? When Tian Chen died, he repeated that. he repeated that same line. You'll come with us when we go. That was
Yes.
the exact words that Jade said to Tian Chen's dead body at the funeral, right before the funeral. Don't worry, you'll come
Yes.
with us when we go. So yeah, I think
You'll
you
come
could
with
be
us.
right.
He's verbatim telling us. So I think we don't just have that to support the theory, but we have another thing. When they were trying to solve the riddle of the numbers in the tree, Jim was the one that had the answer being 12. Now, he didn't
Mhm.
know the answer being 12 because he looked at the numbers and came up with it.
Yep.
He specifically mentioned, I remember this when I was a child. My mother, I remember learning this from her. And we have a running theme. Baghdad remembered the lullaby. So
Yeah.
there's characters that remember from their real world lives when they were children pieces of information that are useful and from.
That
And
pop
now
up here.
Jade, yes, and now Jade is letting us know he remembers this from when he was a child, going from France to the US. That could be a piece of information of the puzzle of somebody trying to intervene in the real world so that they have the tools that they might need to successfully solve this thing and from. So
Mhm.
somebody could have been telling Jade, if you do this, they will all come with you when you go. You can
Mhm.
free not just yourself. This is not a battle for just the people in from that are alive, but every single person that has ever died and their souls. If you
Mhm.
could solve this, everybody gets to go home.
Yeah. Will they all come with us when we go? Could be. Could very well be. And yeah, and it's nice to see them potentially, tie things back to earlier seasons. And I get the feeling we're going to see a lot of that. I imagine after season 4 is done in its entirety, and we've seen the whole of the season, I imagine we're going to see a lot of stuff tying back to season 1. And Mel, part of me wouldn't even be surprised if it wasn't that big doll scarecrow monster that was dragging the freaking tent. But let's continue. Let's see what else we have next. This is where we start getting the flashes. They go by very quick, but we'll try and take a look at all of them. Now, first we see this. Now, this is just looks to be the stairs that led down to the cave that the kimono creature took Fatima's pod in at the end of season 3, which later birthed Smiley. So we've seen this before, the entrance to the cave, so not a whole lot there. But next, here we see something very interesting, what looks to be some kind of statue that we have certainly not seen before, blood on the chin, and we have a rat in its mouth. And a lot of people took notice in season 2 when Tabitha and Victor were down in the caves. When we got our first real good look at the caves for the first time, we see that one shot of a rat eating one of the crows. And a lot of people thought that is, a lot of theories, I guess you could say, were birthed from that one scene in terms of what that symbolizes. What do the crows represent? What do the rats represent? And here, when we see this in the trailer, it just made me think of that scene. I guess just intuitively, it made me think of the rat scene, seeing this rat crawl out of this statue's mouth. But in terms of the crows, it looks like we're also going to get some crow action as well. We did see that the crows are going to be at least in the town at some point. So maybe we'll finally learn a little bit more about what is the deal with these crows. Or maybe they're just weird crows. And that's another thing that we also do have to kind of remember every once in a while, that every little tiny thing might not mean something deep and mysterious and have some big revelation behind it. We could come to find out that some things, like the crows, could simply just be there for aesthetic. You have creepy crows in a creepy place just to make the place more creepy. It could just be that simple at the end. And that's what's always been fun about just for me personally, trying to decide, which of this stuff to kind of pay closer attention to and which of the stuff might just be aesthetic and set dressing. And it's tough because, in a show that's predicated on mystery, you want to believe that there's a deeper meaning behind everything we see. And I do believe there's a deeper meaning behind a lot of it, but just not all of it.
Well, I
But
have a
what about
couple of
you?
theories. I
When you
have a
see the
couple of
rat,
theories of
when
the
you,
crows
the
and the
crows?
rats.
Okay.
Okay, so the crows could be the souls of the people that have died and from because they're trapped there. You can't go anywhere. And you can become a monster, but you're trapped. So the crows could be the souls of everybody that has died and from. warning them, trying to let the townspeople know when they see the tree, this is a bad sign, you guys. Or the crows could be the man in yellow. Now that we established that the man in yellow is a shapeshifter, that could have been the crows
Well,
all
he might
along.
be. He might be. I feel like we can't say anything definitively for sure until we actually see it, but it looks
Yeah,
like
that's
he
why
might.
it's a theory. It's a
Yeah,
working theory that we
looks like
have
he might be.
collectively. And
Yeah.
this morning, we just came up with it this morning, 2 minutes ago. So we have to test it, right? Like every theory, we have to take it through the scientific process and see if it passes.
Mm,
But I think collectively here in the chat, you guys have come up with a great theory about it being Men in Yellow being a shapeshifter.
yeah.
And if we put that together with Martin, him being Martin, who was chained to the wall, he couldn't really physically be in town. But how did he know everything? He was the crows until he was freed by Boyd. So maybe he has been the crows all along, and that's how he knows everybody's name, what they do, what's going on in town. So that's a couple of theories. Now the rats, I have no idea. A lot of people were saying that they represent the townspeople and the crows represent the entity, which I agree. The crows could be the men in yellow. Could the rats be the souls of the dead people, the regular dead people, the people that were not monsters?
Mhm.
Potentially. Other than that, I have nothing, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, again, a lot of these quick little flashes. They're just quick little shots out of context. There's really not a ton to be gleaned from it yet. Although I did see a few people wondering, is this actually a statue or is this some kind of desiccated dead body, maybe? And that's actually a good question. I mean, it looks kind of statuesque. It almost looks stone, but then again, it does look very realistic too. Like it could be, is it some kind of desiccated body, maybe? Who knows? I suppose it could be either or. That is a good point. Very good point. Um, but yeah, I wasn't expecting this level of special effects with the new creatures. I wasn't. I mean, again, I wasn't either. But we did see that one. There was that one little kind of leak during the filming of season 4, where they had cranes and stuff in Fromville. You had Kenny strapped to one of those, harnesses, which usually means he was probably going to be doing something, high up in the air or being, or something big. And it looks like we're seeing a lot of that. That could have been a lot of the reasons why we saw some of those extra riggings on the set from season 4, when we usually don't see that stuff during the filming, because they're planning on some bigger stuff in the 4th season, which is fun. I mean, it looks like they're upping the ante a little bit in terms of these special effects and the spectacle of it all. Definitely upping the ante a bit. But all right, let's continue. We get another shot of Marielle back in the caves, which of course is just a shot from season 2. I don't imagine this is a season 4 shot. This is just a shot showing us a shot of her in season 2, a flashback. And here we see this man again. Now, this, of course, does look like a new shot. We did see this man in season 3 when Jade did have that one vision of the man, of this person kind of just appearing before him and drinking out of this skull, drinking blood out of the skull. And then, of course, Jade saw the other vision of him kind of tethered to the tree with the railroad spike through his eye, stuck to the tree, in a similar manner to where we found Kelly stuck to the tree in season 2 when she had the rebar through her forehead and stuck to the tree. So this is pretty interesting. It looks like we are going to be getting more Jade visions. And that's one thing I've been really hoping that they are going to clamp down a little bit on in season 4, in terms of Jade finally taking a closer look at these visions and wondering what they mean, instead of just always being afraid of them. That's always been a big thing about Jade. Anytime he has one of these visions, it just completely scares the heck out of him. And I feel like that's stopping him from being able to analyze it objectively, and stopping him from being able to realize or figure out what these visions are trying to tell him. And I hope we see him have that breakthrough in season 4. And we even had that little kind of scene between him and the dead bartender, Tom, where Tom told him, hey, you need to get sober. You're not able to see things clearly, which again, now we have to question all of these apparition cameos that we've seen in the past and wonder, is this really the spirit of a dead character that is kind of returning to give one of our characters advice, or has the man in yellow been behind more of these things than we realize? And that's what's interesting with the man in yellow potentially being a shapeshifter. There's a lot that we have to go back and question now, and that's always fun. It's always fun when you can go back and look at previous seasons through a different light and try to look for new things that you didn't have context to look for earlier. So that's always fun.
Well, I have a quick question here. I mean, I got on here so quickly that I have not gotten a chance to really see the entire trailer. But I have a question here for you. Is this the only shot that we get of this man, or do we get to see his face?
I don't think we see his face. No, I'm pretty sure this
Because
is all
this
we
looks
get.
like Jade in costume. That beard, that's very, very similar to Jade's
It's
beard.
similar, but it's a little too short, and Jade's beard has a lot more gray in it.
Could that be? I'm wondering, why are
I'm
we not
wondering if
seeing
this is a
Jade?
previous version of Jade, one of his previous
And could Jade
incarnations.
maybe be like the new character that's gonna play the previous versions of himself? So when we see the previous versions of a character in a show, a film, usually it's played by other people. But essentially, I mean, and from you could have Tabitha and Jade dress up in different costuming and play all previous versions of themselves. That would keep us with the
Well,
characters that we love, the actors that we love, and it would send the
yeah,
same message that this has been Tabitha or Jade all along, which I
well,
would
but
like.
it would be interesting, but we've already seen previous iterations of their reincarnations with Miranda and Christopher that didn't look like Tabitha and Jade. So I feel like each incarnation was probably something different. I don't imagine they looked like this Jade and this Tabitha that we see now
No,
every
they look
single time.
different. They all look different. But my point is the acting. Now that they remember that they are all of these previous versions, could the acting be done by Jade and Tabitha, the actors?
I don't think so. No, I think they would have to. I mean, if they want to keep in continuity, if each incarnation was a different person, I imagine they would probably want to get different actors to portray the original Jade and the original Tabitha.
Yeah, but we do have a really interesting question here in the chat for you. Is this an adult skull or a child skull? So
Or a
that's
child
one of
skull.
the things that they have
Mhm.
been looking at, right? Since we saw
Yeah.
this man, a
I
lot of
mean,
people thought that it was a child skull, right, from the sacrifice. Does that look?
I don't think so. I think it looks closer to adult size, just looking at the size of it. I mean, although I don't know, it does look pretty small too. It's tough. It's tough. I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? What do you guys think? Let us know what you guys think in the chat. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not quite sure if it's an adult size skull or a child size skull, but it's an interesting question. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, I don't think we see his face. It just zooms in a little bit closer to the skull itself, and I have it as slow as it possibly can go. And these clips go by really, really quick, even on slow mo. So there is that. All right. But yeah, just zooms up a little bit closer. We see the blood inside the skull, which again, we did see the vision of this man in season 3. Jade saw the vision of him drinking the blood out of the skull in season 3. So it looks like we'll be seeing him again and maybe learning exactly who he is. Again, could these be previous incarnations of the previous Jades and the previous Tabithas? Could we see other versions of them now that we know that they have been kind of reincarnated? Yeah, all right, let's continue. Up next, this is interesting. We see this shot of the cross, and now we did see a shot in the trailer that it looks like someone steals the ambulance and takes it for a little bit of a joyride and potentially crashes it maybe right into the police station. And it looks like that's what we're seeing here. And I guess the question is, or could this potentially be Sophia? Could this be a shot of Sophia's car entering the town after hitting the spike strips and crashing into the police station, given that we do see the cross here? Maybe this is Sophia and her father actually entering the town after hitting the spike strips, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, when I saw that, I thought that has to be Sophia. I don't recall seeing that specific cross. I know that they have a working vehicle in from, but I remember it having more of like hippie-ish style danglings from it.
Yeah.
It's the vehicle that they keep at Colony House, and this has just a very prominent cross. So I was thinking that this is Sophia and her arrival. Now we
Yeah.
also get a shot of Sophia standing with the entire town and two graves. So I
Mhm.
think that she's the only survivor. She came into town
Looks
with a
like
couple
that.
of people,
Yeah.
and she's the only
Yeah.
survivor.
Well, we do see in the trailer that she does arrive at least with her father. We know that she is the daughter of a pastor. At least that's a little bit of the information that we did get from her character. And we do see that one shot of them showing up to the tree in the road. We actually get to see Sophia pull up to the tree. And we see her father get out. We see, the priest call her and everything. So it looks like she's at least with her father. And yeah, I imagine she's probably going to be the only survivor out of whoever's with her party. Yeah. But we'll get to that scene. That scene's coming up. But yeah, if I had to guess, this could be maybe, because we know we did see that one shot later on in the trailer also of Kenny laying out the spike strips. So I'm guessing maybe this is the vehicle that Sophia and her family were traveling in after hitting the spike strips. They crashed into the police station. Bada bing, bada boom. Now,
You guys
okay.
are so funny in the chat. You guys are so funny. Always crack me up. Somebody said Boyd is gonna have to stay somewhere else now. They're worried about this. That is true. Boyd is gonna have to stay somewhere else now.
Yeah. Yeah, where's Boyd gonna stay? Yeah, they messed up his digs. Too
He's gonna
bad.
go to Colony House. He's gonna end up at Colony House just like Kenny.
Yep. He's gonna be wondering if the weird sex parties are still gonna be happening. Now here we see a quick shot of what appears to be everybody running around. Now I'm wondering, we have really no context really, so it's really just guesses at this point, but could this, it looks like this is just potentially a flashback to when maybe Boyd killed Abby is what I'm gathering, because we see that very next shot. It looks like that could potentially just be a flashback to it. Here we see a shot of the totems. I imagine we're going to learn, hopefully learn a little bit more about the totems, hopefully learn a little bit more about that new ruined settlement that we see, which we are going to see in the trailer in a little bit as well. And I'm looking forward to dissecting that with you guys. But then we see this, which was very interesting. These don't look like, your average corpses, to say the least. It almost looks like they're covered in like seaweed for crying out loud. Like, this is super creepy looking.
That is very creepy looking.
Right? Super creepy.
I'm trying to look at the clothing and see. Okay, just initial thoughts. The one on the right, his shirt reminds me of something that Dell used to wear. A really bright Hawaiian style
Yeah,
shirt.
this almost looks like it could be Ellis. I wouldn't be surprised if this is maybe Donna.
Donna.
The ones that are looking at this, that almost looks like that could be Ellis. No?
Okay, so we do have cabbage here on the side, or cauliflower. So that means
This
that
is
they
probably
are
when they
encountering
went.
here at the
Yes,
totems.
they went on to this is when we did get that little snippet in the 30-second teaser of Donna with the backpack looking at the totem. So it looks like we do have a food run at some point this season. So yeah, maybe when they show up to the ruined settlement, they just see this laying there.
Yes, so we're all wondering what's gonna happen now that they have destroyed the totem symbol, right? And it looks like dark things start happening in the village. It looks
Maybe.
like there's cauliflower, so I'm guessing
Right.
this is Donna going in to gather food with everybody. And
Yeah.
now when they arrive, there's a shovel right there.
Yeah.
As they're trying to gather their food, they come across this, letting them know this is no longer a safe place, and this is a direct result from having removed those totems.
From Jade, exactly. And we did, and I always we talked about this on our last stream, but we did have a feeling that one little line of dialogue was going to come back to haunt Jade at some point.
This is a really bad idea.
There's nothing else strong enough to pry that trap open.
You really want to start pulling apart the ancient tower of holy scary shit?
I'm sure whoever built it won't mind.
Oh, Jesus. Fuck!
I'm sure whoever built it won't mind. Well, I get the feeling they minded. I think they might have minded a little bit. And maybe it was even that thing that's smashing into the cabin that we see later. But yeah, very interesting. Yeah, it looks like it'll be interesting to see what happens in this new ruined village. What are we going to learn about it? Who built it? Who lived there? Like, what was the purpose of it? Will we see some maybe flashbacks to it when it was actually built, perhaps? So a lot going on in that new ruined settlement that we really don't know about yet. So that'll be really fun to find out.
So I'd like to follow up on this picture just very quickly before we move on.
Yeah, of course.
We know that we got a behind the scenes photo of Donna with the cane.
With the cane.
And we see that she went to the village to gather
Does she
food.
step
Now
on a
we
bear
have this
trap?
shot. I think as soon as they see this, they get freaked out. Something chases them away. They run away, and that's when Donna takes a tumble, and that's why she ends up with a cane.
Okay, could be, very well could be. And I like this as well. It maybe Jade could have built it in a past life. Maybe, who knows? Who knows? But no, I like that. I think that's a good. I think that's an interesting explanation as to why maybe Donna gets hurt, because we do see her with that cane. Yeah, maybe, could be. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, we got a quick little close up. I mean, even on all the way slow mo, this stuff still flies by super fast. But it almost looks like they're stitched up individually. That very much looks like hand stitching for sure. So very
very
weird.
crafty. So whoever made this, if the men in yellow is going around making these, quite crafty.
Look at the button for an eye. I think this is the monster thing. That's the
and
mouth.
it's missing the other eye.
Missing the other eye. I think this is
Which is a
one of those
reoccurring
like
thing.
scarecrow kind of things that we see that gets animated later, maybe. Okay, interesting.
Yes, and so what's really interesting is that it's also
Voodoo
three
dolls, as Big Hex says, maybe. Yeah,
three voodoo dolls. Yes, it could be. So if we get three voodoo dolls, the
Super weird.
talisman also had three. It was three totems that were standing.
There was
So
three,
there's this
three totems.
reoccurring thing. Maybe when you broke the talisman, the three totems stopped working, and now you get three voodoo dolls.
Yeah, maybe. That's scary. That's a scary proposition. But yeah, it looks like there is going to be some consequences to Jade knocking down that totem, which we had a feeling there would be. But now the chicken is coming home to roost, as it were. Now, next we see a drawing of one of Victor's drawings, a couple of Victor's drawings. Crying blood, a woman that appears to be crying blood and even kind of choking on blood. We see another one of Victor's drawings. These are two of the drawings we see in the intro sequence, actually. And here we see the thing come to life, animated up. And this looks like it's a different one from the one that we just saw laying on the ground, because this one does look like it does have both of its eyes. But yeah, here we see the thing upright, alive, animated, full on, big old freaking scarecrow walking around. Crazy.
Wow.
Right?
I like it, right? So you and I have been wary of too much
we don't want the show
special
to get
effects
too
and
silly with like the horror, like
exactly.
that's why
When
I
you
was a little
puppet, you
nervous
didn't want
about
the puppet to talk.
the
So
talking puppet. Yeah, I mean, that could just be my bias though, personally, because I'm just not a big Chucky fan. I just don't really like the Chucky movies. But yeah, I don't know. This looks creepy. Like this looks. It's not like it looks like whimsical or out of place or anything. It looks dark. It looks scary. It looks creepy. It looks like fitting within the confines of Fromville, especially seeing it at night. So I'm all for this. This looks great.
the other thing that I like about it is that this looks like it could have been done without using any special effects, really. It could have been done with costuming and an actor.
Practical. Yeah.
And so practical effects always will read scarier to me than
always
some of the stuff that they've used, recently with AI and all of this. So that is scary. I think
It
it's
is.
also the eyes are glowing But I think that that could have been done with
Maybe.
practical effects as well. I
Yeah,
really
it could.
I like the idea, and like you mentioned before, Taryn has been talking about creatures like Bigfoot. He's been
Yep.
talking about, and we have other people who have been talking about giant spiders. It looks like you guys might potentially get all of those things, because if they're including a scarecrow that is walking out and about that has come to life, I mean, anything could be possible. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Bigfoot.
And
Maybe
that's
Taryn
what I
was
said
right.
earlier. I said that exact thing before you hopped on. I'm like, see, looking at this thing, maybe Taryn's Bigfoot theory is true after all. I mean, after seeing this, who knows what we're gonna freaking get?
Yeah, Taryn, you're
Because
gonna have the last laugh, Taryn.
he might. But no, this is super creepy, and that was this was my original thought as well when I just first saw this. Probably just a dream, could just be a dream. But then when you see the shot later on in the trailer of this same thing crashing and breaking into one of the cabins, and all of our characters, reacting to it, it looks like it's real. Because that was my initial thought as well. Like, oh, could this be a vision or a dream sequence? This is a big doll walking around. What are we doing? But we do see it crashing into the cabin, like physically crashing into the cabin. So it looks like it is real. It doesn't look like it's a dream. But let's continue. Let's see what we get next. Oh, yeah, that's right. It reaches down. Super fucking creepy. Super creepy. I mean, come on. It's kind of funny just seeing it reach down like that. But yeah, we got animated scarecrows, scarecrow dolls, whatever you want to call them. Animated new monsters, I guess.
See, I would be terrified. It's just a little scarecrow
scary.
doll. But I would be terrified if I see that coming at me. Now it looks like it's nighttime. So this is
Yeah.
another interesting fact. Usually at night, all you have to worry about is the monsters. I mean,
Not
no
anymore.
big deal, right? No
Not
big deal.
anymore.
All you have to worry about is the monsters. But it looks like now at nighttime, anything could happen. Like
Anything.
Martin said,
Well, Martin, I was just gonna say, Mhm.
like Martin said, the monsters are just the tip of the spear. So now they have released all of these other entities. Now at nighttime, you have to worry about much more, and potentially during the day. We do not know. And we do get a line in the trailer where it says, we don't know the rules. The rules keep on
We still don't know the
changing.
rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we still don't know the rules. Got to learn them rules. We got $10 though from Nikki. Thank you so much, Nikki, for the 10. Very, very much appreciate you. Celebrating. Yes, today is very much a day of celebration. It is. This is definitely cause to celebrate. And double cause to celebrate. Looks like we got the man in yellow himself.
Man in yellow, give us some answers. Get
the man in yellow himself in the chat. What do they call it? Bicycle day?
Everybody, we have the
awesome.
man in yellow here. Get up here and give us some answers, Mr. Dog.
Yeah, we need the secrets.
You have all
we need
answers.
the answers.
He has all of
the answers. He's got the answers. Yep. Welcome, Doug. I cannot wait to see your role in season 4. I mean, talking to you last year was probably the funnest stream I've ever had on this channel. And, seeing your character have a full season this season, not just one scene. Cannot wait to see your performance, my friend. Cannot freaking wait. And this trailer looks great. This looks so freaking good. So freaking good.
Yes. And Mr. Dog,
awesome.
I cannot imagine any other actor playing the man in yellow. You embody the man in yellow so well. He has this joy. He has this joy for the evil things that he's doing.
The smile, the black teeth, it's so fucking
amazing.
good.
You were the perfect actor to embody the man in yellow. I can't imagine him any other way. Yes, the portrayal of a very playful but very scary figure. Super interesting. And also, once we get to talk to you, hopefully we'll get to talk to you. I want to know about this yellow suit. If there was multiple yellow suits, or if there was just one yellow suit. Now that we know that it's being buried, taken out of the ground, worn again, that yellow suit is going to get dirty pretty quickly. So how many suits are in costuming? Is it multiple yellow suits or just one? I want to know about the fashion.
Of course, the DM wants to know about the fashion. But yeah, no, I can't wait. I can't wait to see. I mean, I just can't wait to see the overall role that he's going to have in the narrative. Like, I can't wait to see the performance on top of it. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing, this, story wise, what role is the Man in Yellow going to play? Like, this is, again, I think this is going to be the best fucking season yet. I think it's going to be the best season yet. But let's continue. Let's see what we get next. We get Boyd waking up. And again, we talked a little bit about this earlier when we saw Boyd kind of visiting his wife's grave. And we see him, telling Abby that he's worried about what he's potentially turning into. He's afraid of what he's becoming. And again, I think a lot of it does maybe, tie back to him probably feeling bad for what he did to Elgin, even though, he felt like he did what he had to do to save his family at the time, which I'm sure, probably many people would. But again, Boyd he's a very moral man. He has a very sound moral center, a good moral compass, as it were. He knows right from wrong. And him, after the dust has settled, after Fatima is safe and after everything is done now, I imagine that's probably going to be on his mind just as much, if not more than anything else. I had to torture a teenager to save my family. And it's probably going to bring up other memories. Like, I had to kill my own wife to save my son. Like, Boyd has so much trauma that he is dealing with and that he has dealt with and will continue to deal with. And I think we're seeing it start to get to him a little bit in this season, where he's starting, a lot of this stuff is starting to get a little bit heavier to bear. And again, that could be a result of maybe even the Parkinson's getting a little bit worse. We did see in that little synopsis that we get that it stated that as Boyd's body and mind begins to fail him, will he be able to hold on to control of the town? So I think we're seeing all of this stuff starting to crash down on Boyd all at once, and it's starting to get a little bit too much to bear because he's a little bit lesser than as the Parkinson's continues to make him a little bit weaker. It's going to be a little bit harder for him to shoulder all these burdens, I think. So I really think we're going to see a good portion of a lot of this stuff really getting to Boyd this season. And that is going to make for some incredibly good scenes with Harold Perrineau. He's so good at emoting. He's so good with body language and facial expressions that he's able to convey these emotions so freaking well. So I imagine we're going to see Boyd dealing with a lot of the aftermath of the stuff that he's had to done since being here in Fromville.
Exactly. Everything takes a toll on you at a certain point, right? He's been able to keep it together, but as the town descends into madness and he's losing control, like we stated previously, when you lose control, that's when you become more of a dictator because you're trying to keep things together. So he knows that it's a hard job. The job that he has is a very difficult job. In season 1, there's even a mention of him saying, "I'm not the sheriff. I don't want to be the sheriff anymore," to Katri, right? And Katri reminds him, "You are. You have been elected for the job without having an election. It is your job." And he couldn't help himself, right? He is a helper. So he was, of course, going to try to help the town as soon as he got there. But everything's going to take a toll on him. It has cost them now his wife. Potentially in the chat, a lot of people were saying they're thinking that Ellis might be a goner. So I don't think that boy could survive much more. If Ellis dies and Fatima, he really is at the end of the rope. But the same thing for the actor. I couldn't imagine Boyd being embodied by any other actor.
No way. I mean, I could say the same for like literally every single character on this cast. Honestly, like this cast is so great. I couldn't picture anybody else playing any of these characters. Jade is Jade. Victor is Victor. Boyd is Boyd. The Man in Yellow is the Man in Yellow. Like I couldn't picture anybody else playing these roles. But yeah, this is super freaking excited. It looks crazy. Missed you guys. We missed you guys as well. Again, we've been chomping at the bit waiting for From to come back around. It's our favorite show to cover here on the channel, and in my opinion, it's the most fun community here that we out of all the shows that we cover. I love diving into this stuff with you guys. We've met so many freaking cool people because of this show, and I am so thankful for that. But yeah, this is it. We're back. We are back from villains. We are back. But yeah, again, it looks like a lot of the stuff is going to be weighing heavily on Boyd. I imagine him torturing Elgin is going to be weighing very heavily on him, even though, he did what he had to save his family. Boyd is still that type of person where he's going to feel bad for something like that. So I think we're going to see it's going to be real tough for Boyd this season. Real tough for Boyd. Let's see what we get next. Next, we get some shots of the crows. And again, we talked about this earlier, and I know a lot of people want like a deeper meaning for the crows, and there could be potentially, maybe, but part of me does also always want to ask myself, are we looking too deep into something that is simply just there for pure aesthetic? That maybe there isn't a deeper meaning for the crows being around. Maybe the crows are just in the show just to make Fromville a little bit more creepy, just to make it creepier. Creepy crows in a creepy show. It could just be that simple. But next we see the arrival of what appears to be Sophia, and at very least her father. Looks like she's with her father as well. Let's see if we can continue this. There we go. We see a shot of her father here, and in a minute we'll see Sophia on the other side. Let's see. There we go. Now, here we go. Our first shot at Sophia and her father arriving at the downed tree. And I think you were right as well, PM. I think it's looking like, regardless of if there's another person in that car, I imagine Sophia is probably going to be the only survivor when they do eventually get into town. We saw that little snippet in that first 30-second teaser of her praying, and we saw a little bit of blood on her shirt. So yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if her father gets killed, or whoever else she's traveling with gets killed, and maybe Sophia will be the only one that lives. After all, she was the only official casting that was added to the cast.
Exactly.
That was announced. At least that was announced anyway.
That was what I was about to say. But it also makes sense when it comes to the storyline. We know that there's going to be so much happening. I mean, from the trailer, we could see there's a lot of action. We need to tie up a lot of storylines. So we don't have time to be introduced to new characters. If we're going to be introduced to a new character, then they're going to have a major role, and it's going to be one of them. At most two of them, right? Sophia seems to fit the bill perfectly for the religious person in town. We have mentioned this before. I also like that it's going to be Sophia on her own. It looks like she is, like they described her, very sheltered. So this is going to be her first time on her own, basically, having to interpret life on her own without her father, potentially her mother, right?
In a place where we hear her say in the trailer, keep me safe in this place that's surrounded by evil, so, for her, she's probably going to think she's in hell, for all we know. But I did see someone
that. Yes.
Well, I saw someone asking in the chat, because this was a theory that a lot of people were talking about earlier on when people found out that Sophia was the daughter of a pastor. A lot of people were wondering, oh, could her father be the priest or the pastor that Tabitha saw in season 3, the one that she took confession with? And here we see, no, it's not the same priest. Mayken is asking, is that the same priest that we saw from season 3? No, this is a different actor. This is not that same priest. So it looks like it's a different actor entirely. Because I just remember that being a theory that a lot of people were talking about at the time, wondering if they were going to connect Sophia to the story even more by having that priest be her father. But it looks like that's not the case.
Yes, it's a totally different person.
Yeah.
What I like about Sophia's line that she says, "Please God help me in this place that is surrounded by evil," is that we are kind of getting maybe that theory, right? I have that theory. A couple of us think that there's going to be a cult form, because at the end of the day, From is the story about a cult, a group of people that decided to sacrifice children. Sacrifices a cult religious sort of, behavior. So at the end of the day, this is the story about a cult and people trying to undo what they did originally. When she says this, it makes me think, if she's already looking at the town in this manner, is she referring to the evil of the monsters, or is she referring to everybody that is in town? She could, because she's a religious person, think we are surrounded by evil. All of these people are getting high, drinking, having wild sex parties up in Colony House. Everything here is bad. Help
It
me
could
keep
just be like
myself
in
well.
general. Yeah, like a
Yeah.
general sense where I'm surrounded by evil, not just the evil of the monsters, but yeah, maybe the what she perceives as evil, and within the people, maybe. It could be just a general sense, maybe, that she just feels like she's just
Yes.
surrounded by evil type thing.
And when you get to thinking of people in that manner, that could create the divide in town that we have been predicting. That split of the town into two factions. It could be the people that believe Sophia might have the answer as to this is why we're stuck here, because everything
Mhm.
that you are doing is evil. And so we must do a cleanse. And there we go. That's where we get our cult. She's going to
Maybe.
cleanse the town of all of the evil so that they may be able to escape. That is a reoccurring theme in religion. A cleansing of the sinners is
Mhm.
a reoccurring theme in lots of different religions. So a cleansing of the sinners may be upon us.
Mhm. I mean, yeah, could be. Could very well be. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what her part's going to be. With them, adding a new series regular to the cast this late in the game. Yeah, you start to wonder what kind of role is she going to play, and is it going to be a significant one? And I imagine it probably will be. It looks like, in that little statement we got a few months ago now, actually, part of it was, and what role will the new arrival play in town when they arrive? So it'll be interesting to see what role Sophia's going to play. I feel like, there's so many directions they could go with this character. So many directions they could go. So it'll be
Yes,
interesting to see.
but Jeremy, I would like to say goodbye to you and the chat. I do have to
Oh, yes.
go.
I know it's during the day. Yes. Thank you so much for hopping on as much as you could. And we'll probably do another live stream tonight as well. So this will be the first of many live streams that we do.
Absolutely. We have to. We have to. If not
Absolutely.
tonight, then tomorrow night, right? I know that
Absolutely.
we're all going to be working on our videos to
Yep.
break down the trailer, right?
Oh,
You
yes.
could expect 6-hour videos on a 3-minute trailer. Thank you
Absolutely.
all so much for being here. And thank you, Jeremy, for having me. Have a good
Oh, of course.
rest of your day.
Of course. And if you guys have not already, subscribe to PM Philosophy. She'll be covering, we'll be streaming here on this channel, but she'll be doing tons of stuff on her channel as well. So give her a sub if you haven't already. She'll be breaking down the trailer, I'm sure, and many other stuff. So head over there and give her a sub. Thank you, PM, for joining me. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what kind of role Sophia is going to play. Again, you go a lot of directions with her character. I think it's going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, let's see what else we got as we continue. Here next, we see Donna and Boyd, and we did this dialogue earlier with Donna coming up to Boyd and basically saying, hey, there's a lot of people in town that are wondering what happened down there. And I think that's going to be an interesting question. How much is Boyd going to tell everyone, I guess, is the question. Because that's one thing that I know a lot of fans have, noticed over the seasons, that some of the characters kind of keep things to themselves and don't share a lot of information. That's something a lot of people, talk about. So I guess you wonder, how much is Boyd going to share? I mean, I feel like we're at that part where you kind of have to start sharing everything. We're getting to the beginning of the end now. Things are getting really crazy. So yeah, I guess it'll be interesting to see how much Boyd tells Donna in that scene, how much Boyd tells the entire town. Will he tell them about Smiley coming back to life? I imagine he has to, right? I mean, it's vital information that changes the very landscape of the town, the potential that you can't even kill these things, that they'll just come back to life. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how much Boyd will divulge and how early he'll divulge it. We shall see. We shall see. We got Robert Saunders for $10. Thank you so much, Robert, for the 10. Very much appreciate you, my friend. Sorry I'm late. Amazing trailer. Don't know if you mentioned this, but the Scarecrow and dolls are from the original Epics drawings released by before season 1. I thought they looked familiar. That's a very good point. I didn't even think of that until you just mentioned it. But I do know the drawings that you're talking about. Yes, they do look just like that. Very, very good correlation there, Robert. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe they were laying the groundwork from that from the very beginning, maybe. Yeah, Interesting. Very, very interesting. And thank you so much for the $10. Very much appreciate you, my friend. Maybe it's a good thing. Once they start taking people die, knowledge comes with a cost. Maybe. I get the feeling we're going to get some heavy casualties this season. I just get that feeling that we're going to lose a lot of characters. We lost Tian Chen and Jim in season 3, 2 of our main characters, pretty much. And I wouldn't be too surprised if we lose that many this season, or maybe even more. Who knows? But we shall see. But yeah, what do you guys think? Will Boyd share, or will he play it close to the vest like he usually does? I think Boyd will share when he realizes he can't hold this thing together on his own. And I think that's a very good point as well. Because we do see that he is starting to doubt himself. We saw that scene of him going up to talk to his wife, and he's questioning himself. He's afraid of what he's becoming. So yeah, maybe he is going to get to a point where he's going to start to realize, like, okay, I can't do this on my own anymore. I can't just be the one-man team anymore. I need help. And maybe he'll come to that realization and be a little more open to receiving that help. Maybe. We shall see. We shall see. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. I'm going to drop my Jade tribute art video Friday. It's called Jaded Proclivities. Awesome stuff. Definitely awesome. Definitely subscribe to Debbie Ebby. Check out some of her awesome from art. Love it. I can dig it up. I mean, I don't have it on hand now, but I do have it somewhere in my files, so I will definitely dig it up for tonight's stream for sure. Whether we go live tonight or tomorrow night, either or, I'll have it for the next stream, definitely, for sure. And we'll take a look at it and compare it. Let's see what else we got. Up next, we got Jade down in the caves. And again, we talked a little bit about this earlier at the beginning of the stream. But this is interesting. We see Jade sees a little boy down there. And there's been a lot of speculation as to who this little boy is. But it looks like maybe Jade is seeing a younger version of himself here. And I would love to know what you guys think in the trailer. Who is this little boy that Jade is seeing down in these caves? I imagine it's probably a vision that he's having. And maybe he's seeing a younger version of himself in some small way. Is there something that Jade needs to find within himself, maybe? Or is this a vision of someone else entirely? Is this a vision of Jade's original child that they tried to save from the Ankui sacrifice, maybe? I don't know. But definitely let me know what you guys think. Who is this little boy? Could it be a young Jade or someone else entirely? Not quite sure. Super creepy. But again, with Jade going down into the caves, it does at least show us that Jade is going to be looking for answers this season. And again, like we were saying earlier, I think we're going to see that difference between how Jade handles things and how Tabitha handles things. Now that they both have had this revelation, now that they both realize who they are and what they are, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Tabitha kind of run away from it for a little bit and try to avoid it as long as she can, while Jade does the exact opposite. Because again, Jade just has that kind of naturally inquisitive mind. He wants to know how things work. He wants to know the answers to things. I imagine for someone like Jade and his type of personality, not knowing the answer to something probably drives him crazy. And I think that's why we saw him so driven from the very beginning of the show, whether it was him trying to figure out the electricity, trying to figure out the radio. It's like he's just one of those people that just doesn't like not knowing. So I think we're going to see Jade doing everything in his power to try and uncover more answers, because we do see Jade come up to Tabitha in the trailer and say, hey, Tabitha, we need to talk. So clearly Jade goes to Tabitha and initiates we need to discuss this, while it seems like Tabitha might be trying to avoid it, which again is very fitting for their characters from what we know up until this point. And could it be a new kid in town? I mean, wouldn't that be a scary notion that there was a kid in that car and he, just ran out and ran into the caves thinking he was hiding and ended up right in the monsters caves? That would be pretty crazy. Who knows? I get the feeling it might just be a vision of Jade seeing a younger version of himself, but who knows? We really don't know. Really don't know. Let's see what else we got. But yeah, Jade heading down into the caves definitely gives me a lot of hope that we're going to be getting some answers, and that Jade's going to be searching for those answers. Quick little shot of the motel, the town, diner. And here we see Julie asking Tabitha, where's Dad? So it looks like we were right, at least about this, that it seems like Jade and Tabitha just go back to town and they just assume that Jim headed back to town too. But it looks like they're going to be in for a pretty big surprise, I think, the next morning when they realize Jim didn't return and they find his dead body the next day, which might even be strung up on the motel sign if the next clip that we're going to see in a little bit is any indication of that bloody bag hanging from the motel sign, which we did see that little snippet of that still that they did release a few weeks ago. And we saw that little rope that was tied from the fence, and it looked like it was leading up to the motel sign. So a lot of us thought that there was going to be something hanging from that sign, potentially Jim's body. But we shall see. We shall see. But it looks like, again, Jade and Tabitha probably come back to town, just assuming Jim's going to come back to town. And nighttime is falling, and Julie's getting worried that he hasn't showed up yet. So this is going to be, I think it's going to be a gnarly revelation the next morning when Tabitha sees his body. Eesh, it's going to be crazy. Damn that man in yellow. Yeah, Jade being very brave going down into the caves alone for a second time too. Like the first time Jade went down into those caves, he went by himself. That's the first time he saw the little vision of the Ankui children on those little sacrificial slabs. And now here we go. He's going down there again by himself. So yeah, if nothing else, he's brave and he's determined to try and find some answers, it looks. So I love that. Love that mentality. Love that mentality. All right, let's see what else we got. But yeah, Julie wondering where Jim is as it's getting dark and he hasn't returned. We see Tabitha, which maybe is the next morning. Or this, I mean, just this look on Tabitha's face here, this almost looks like this is her after she finds out that Jim's dead. I mean, you just look at the look on her face. It looks like she maybe just walked out into the woods and is just kind of trying to process what just happened. Or maybe this is the very beginning of season 4, and this is her right after she just learned everything she learned, and she's trying to process that. But clearly it's, you know, she's very much going through it here in this moment where she seems like she's contemplating. So I have a feeling it's probably one of those two scenarios. Probably one of those two. But we shall find out. And we're close now. I mean, the actual show is only a little over a month away now. So we do not have a lot of time until a lot of our questions are going to be answered. But then we have this shot of Jade, and this is Jade coming up to Tabitha and telling Tabitha, hey, we need to talk about this. So again, it looks like Jade is wasting no time. Like he wants answers and he wants them now. And I imagine who wouldn't, after having a revelation like that, after one day, you know, after going your whole life thinking you're this, and then in a split second to find out that no, you're actually a reincarnated version, one of many different reincarnated versions of one of these original parents that tried to sacrifice their children. Like, imagine walking around with that knowledge, trying to process that and everything else that they must know. And I think that's going to be interesting to reveal in season 4 as well. Just what exactly do they remember? How much did they remember in that little moment when they finally figured out what Ankui means? What exactly did they remember? Did they remember everything all at once? Or are bits and pieces going to slowly start to come back to them throughout the season? I guess that's the question. Was it like a just straight up download where they got all of the information at once? Or is it going to be something where they start having memories come back to them one at a time? I guess is the question. But I guess we shall see. We shall see. One of my favorite scenes in the entire series. Ooh, eesh, interesting. Interesting. Oof, interesting. Love it. Absolutely love it. And here we see Julie and Ethan opening up the barn door, and it looks like we get that little tagline that we saw in the season 4 trailer. Knowledge comes at a cost. One of the lines that the man in yellow had at the end of season 3. This didn't have to happen. Knowledge comes at a cost. And that seems like that's going to be one of the themes overall of season 4, of hidden knowledge being uncovered and it coming at a very dire cost. It looks like that will be a very heavy theme this season. So that'll be interesting. That will be very interesting. What knowledge is going to be uncovered, I guess, is the question. What are people going to find out? And here we see Tabitha reacting to potentially maybe seeing Jim's body for the first time. I know there were some people in the chat that were wondering if Jim's head was hung from the motel sign and that his body itself is going to get discovered in the actual barn. And that could very well be the case. Who knows? Because we do have that one shot of what appears to be, what looks to be like a bloody knapsack or something hanging from the motel sign. Just big enough to potentially fit a head inside of it. And we'll see that here in a minute. And here we have Jade saying, whoever showed us this, we can just play it and we can go back and forth between slowing it down, shall we? Why not? Why not?
It means everything they showed us. It's real. I think they're doing it to make us afraid.
Well, then it worked.
I think they're doing it to make us afraid. Then it worked. And here we see the backpacks. It looks like this is most likely the group that is probably heading to the ruined settlement to probably try and just gather more food. It looks like they do go on a food run at some point. So that is that. Here we see Digger. Here we see Victor and Henry digging for something. Now, this is very interesting. Now, a lot of us, I think, assume that there's still plenty of stuff that Victor probably hasn't even remembered yet. Like we've seen, that's been a pretty, heavy theme from the very beginning of the show, where Victor will have these memories come back to him out of nowhere, and he'll remember something pretty profound. Like, forgetting that he had a freaking sister, for example, forgetting the massacre, first remembering the massacre in season 1 when he first heard the dog barking, stuff like that. So this is going to be very interesting. What exactly is Victor trying to find here? What is he looking for? What is he digging up? And what kind of memories is going to be unlocked for Victor? What other stuff is he going to remember? Because he's been here for so long. It's easy. I think sometimes it's easy to forget just how long Victor was here by himself. He was here for well over 40 years by himself, and that's a lot of time to experience the horrors of Fromville, and during a time where he didn't have any talismans. He had no talismans when he was there. It wasn't until Boyd got there that Boyd found the talismans. Before Boyd showed up, they didn't have talismans. They did not have the protection that they have now. So I can only imagine what it must have been like for Victor to be in this place for that long with no protection and somehow being able to survive the whole thing. But I have to imagine he has seen a ton of stuff along the way. So I imagine we'll probably see maybe Victor have some more memories come back to him, maybe. And maybe he's remembering something that he buried a long time ago, something that could maybe potentially help them. I don't know. Just a guess. Just a guess. All right. Let's see what else we got. See what else. Yeah, is that a freezer? Yeah, it looks like a freezer or a refrigerator. One of the two. Looks like it, yeah. Looks like a freezer or a fridge. One of the two. Let's see what else we got.
There's something ancient.
Now, see, this is interesting. Here we see Victor with what appears to be one of Victor's drawings of the man in yellow. So it looks like at some point, maybe Victor will have a memory come back to him that maybe he has seen the man in yellow before. Maybe he has even interacted with the man in yellow before and he just doesn't know it. Yeah, his memories of the man in yellow. It could be. Well, we did hear Victor say in season 1 that he draws things. He draws things so he can distinguish what is a real memory and what is a dream. He only draws things that are real, or at least that's what we've been led to believe anyway, up until this point. So if he's drawing a picture of the man in yellow, that it must be because he has seen the man in yellow at some point. So yeah, it looks like we're going to, again, maybe Victor is going to have, and when you go back and look at that 30-second teaser, the first 30-second teaser that they released a little over a month ago, we have that one little snippet of Victor, like he's like devastated. Like, he looks almost the exact same way that he looked when he first remembered Eloise, at the back of the car, when it just devastated him when he finally remembered Eloise for the first time. We see that little snippet in the season 3 teaser of Victor in a very similar manner where he looks like he's really going through it. I'm wondering if in that moment, that is the exact moment where he's remembering the man in yellow or whatever interaction that he maybe had with the man in yellow. Because clearly he must have seen him at some point if he's drawing him. So that'll be interesting. That will be very interesting. Yeah, it looks like the man in yellow comes from his dreams. Looks like Victor lays under the bed. Yeah, I mean, it could be. Could be. It does look, it's like almost looks like a bed there, maybe. I don't know. It's tough. But at the time, we get some interesting dialogue from Marielle when this scene is going on about there being something ancient here.
There's something ancient here. And it's feeding off our suffering, and it doesn't stop.
There's something ancient here, and it's feeding off our suffering, and it doesn't stop. Which Boyd did kind of also think a lot in season 1, especially towards the end of season 1 when him and Sarah went on their little excursion. We hear Boyd kind of have that line where he feels like this place gives you hope just to take it away from you. So we're seeing a lot of that theme kind of continue throughout the show of, them being handed what seems to be hope only for it to get snatched away. Very interesting theme throughout the show. But this was really, really cool. Here we see Jade, Ethan, and Victor in what appears to be, again, I don't want to say anything for certain because I don't know, but what appears to potentially be the man in yellow suit, the suit that the man in yellow wears. Here we get a closer look at it. Looks dirty and disheveled, kind of similar to how he looked in season 3 when he appeared. So this is very interesting, and this has led a lot of people to wonder if the man in yellow does have some kind of shape-changing ability. Is he able to make himself look like someone else, especially considering the scene that we get a little bit later on in the trailer of the man in yellow, where it almost looks like he's transforming, maybe. So yeah, it looks like we have the man in yellow suit here, and could that potentially be that indication that he is changing into something? Maybe. I guess we shall find out. Again, I was not expecting them to show like a whole lot in the trailer, and I feel like they showed a pretty decent amount, which is pretty cool.
And it's
I
feeding
wasn't expecting this
off our
much.
suffering, and it doesn't stop.
Shot of the jukebox, shot of a body being brought into the church here. And I guess it's a good question of any as to whose body this is. Is it Jim's body? Is it Sophia's dad's body? I suppose it could be either or, maybe. But definitely let me know what you guys think. Could this be Jim's body that they're wheeling into the church? Or do you think this could potentially be the body of Sophia's father? What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know what you think. Ethan puts on that yellow jacket. Ooh, does he? Body snatcher. Burn the suit. Burn the suit. Yeah, get rid of the suit. And I see a lot of people talking about a spider, about the man in yellow potentially turning into a spider in season 4. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people think we're going to get a giant spider at some point. I don't know. But at this point, who knows what we're going to get? Who knows what we are going to get? Yeah, but Victor's memory of Man in Yellow was a happy one when he drew the picture. Maybe. Yeah, maybe it was. Again, it'll be interesting. If Victor did have an interaction with the Man in Yellow and he's only now just remembering it, that'll be very interesting to see what exactly it was. What kind of interaction was it? But yeah, that'll be fun. That will be very, very fun. Let's see what else we got. Ooh, it's Marielle's body, says Nathan. Ooh, interesting. Sophia's dad, says Nicole. I think it's got to be one of those two, right? Like that's just my guess. I'm guessing it's probably either Jim's body or Sophia's dad's body. I think it's probably one of those two. Yeah. But who knows? Who knows? We shall find out very soon, though. The season is just around the corner. Just around the corner. All right, let's see what else we got. Here we see, and now it's hard to get a good look at it, but you see a little bit of a hand here, a little bit of a boot here. So it does at the very least look like it is a male body, I guess you could say. That does look like, male boots. So I guess I have to go back and take a look at what kind of boots Jim was wearing. So it's, it's hard to really tell if this is Sophia's dad or if this is Jim's body. But clearly they're bringing it into the church, exactly where they brought Tian Chen's body. So yeah, could be either or. Could be either or. Awesome stuff. What time will the season drop? And is the 20th in Europe? I don't know what time it's going to drop everywhere else. I do know it'll be where I'm at. I'm on the East Coast of the United States, and it usually always drops on Sunday. April 19th is a Sunday, so it'll be April 19th, Sunday night is when the official season will drop. And the show usually airs on the MGM Plus channel itself, either 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. Eastern usually. But if you have the MGM app, it's usually available right on the app. But yeah, April 19th. I'm not exactly sure of the what time that will be in other time zones, though. Yeah, it could be the new person's boot. Could be. Very well. Yeah. Again, it could be Sophia's dad. Could be Jim's body. Could be Sophia's dad's body. I have a feeling it could be one of those two. But
we're losing. We're running out of time, and we still don't know the goddamn rules.
I love that, and Boyd, Boyd can, it's almost like Boyd can sense the walls kind of closing in on him, where he feels like, he knows that they're losing. He knows that things are getting worse. And what's worse about that is they still don't know what to do about it because, as he said, we still don't know the rules. So that is something that's going to be interesting in season 4. If the rules do get a little bit clearer, if some things do get established for the townsfolk, where they do get a little bit more information in terms of what they really need to do in order to get out of here. Because at this point, they still have no idea what they need to do to get out. But I imagine they'll get a much better idea at some point this season as the plot starts to get a little bit more, focused. Hopefully they'll find out exactly what they need to do, and some of those rules will hopefully be revealed to them. Hopefully. We shall see.
Losing.
And here we see Julie and Randall returning to the ruins, the Martin Dungeon ruins. And I think a lot of us had, a feeling that Julie was probably going to be trying to use her story walking abilities a lot more in season 4. Probably trying to get a better handle on it, trying to probably get better at using it, because as of right now, it seems like she doesn't really have really good control over this story walking ability. So it looks like this is probably a scene of her and Randall returning here to probably for Julie to, try and get a little bit better at her story walking abilities. And who knows what that will reveal in the process. What kind of stuff are we going to get revealed through Julie's POV? And I think we will see a lot. Again, with them introducing this story walking kind of capability that Julie does have, and if what Ethan said is true, that she's able to kind of go back and look at the chapters, but she can't change anything, then at the very least, she is a character that we could get a lot of context through her POV, where we could get a lot of answers through her POV as she starts to go back to these other chapters and see some of the stuff that happens before now. We, of course, as the audience will as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get some interesting revelations through Julie's POV in this season. So that'll be interesting to see. That will be very interesting to see. Yeah, it looks like we're going to get a lot of stuff from the past. Looks like we're going to get, and that's going to be really fun. It looks like they're really diving into the past this season. And it was nice to get the answers that we did get at the end of season 3, like when Fatima kind of gave us that exposition dump, where we learned a little bit more about the monsters, about how they were human at one point, about how they sacrificed their own children because something promised them they would live forever. It was nice to get those answers, but we got them in an exposition dump. And at the end of the day, whenever it comes to storytelling, just me personally, I always think, a good rule to follow for storytelling is show the audience, don't tell the audience. And that's just always been my philosophy. Show us, don't tell us. I just feel like it always is a better form of storytelling when we're seeing it as opposed to just listening to someone recount something for us. So while it was nice to get the answers that we did get through Fatima, we didn't really get to see anything because it was just a quick little exposition dump. But here in season 4, I get the feeling we're actually going to get to see the stuff now, not just hear it. And that is super exciting. Actually being able to see some of these past events, seeing what really caused all of this, maybe seeing that original timeline, what started all of this. And that's just always been, something for me, just as a fan. I like seeing as opposed to hearing. But yeah, that'll be fun. Oh, you're referring to the Tien Chen and Jade scene earlier. One of the most heartbreaking scenes, right? It really is. When it comes to the saddest scenes, Doug was just reiterating that that's what he meant in terms of that. That was one of his most heartbreaking scenes, the Jade and Tien Chen scene. So heartbreaking, wasn't it? I mean, with Jade just kind of going over her body and saying, "Don't worry, you'll come with us when we go to it." It's so heartbreaking. It was such a touching feeling, such a touching moment. You saw that Jade and Tien Chen really did have a close bond. I feel like Tien Chen was like that stern motherly figure that Jade really needed in his life to give him a little bit of discipline, So yeah, such a beautiful scene for Jade to give her that kind of send off. It was just, yeah, so good. Such a good scene. I think between that and, for me, I think one of the scenes that hit me, I actually have a clip of it. For me, one of the scenes that hit me the hardest as a viewer, just purely as a viewer, purely as a fan, just watching just beautiful acting, one of the scenes that actually hit me the hardest when I was watching it was this.
It's okay. Everything's okay.
Get home. I didn't know how to get home. It's okay. It's okay.
Just absolutely, just a beautiful performance from Scott McCord there. Just absolutely beautiful. And that's why Scott McCord, I love watching him act. It's such a treat watching Scott McCord play Victor. Such a treat. Because there's so much nuance that he has added to this character in terms of like him really embodying the essence of a 10-year-old traumatized child stuck in an adult's body. He plays it so well and with such nuance and with such emotion and depth. It's one of the best performances I've ever seen in film. Just personally, I think Scott McCord is so underrated as an actor. The guy is so good, so freaking good. And Doug says, "No, my favorite part is watching you all turn yourself into pretzels trying to figure this shit out." It must be. Doug, it must be like having that little bit of that feeling of like the man behind the curtain. Like, okay, I got a little bit of the answers, so it's fun seeing where you guys are like completely freaking wrong. So I imagine that must be a little fun. Yeah, seeing us kind of scramble to try and figure out, what does this mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? So that must be fun. That must be a fun perspective from your part. Very, 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 very much so. I love that. Yeah, I think everyone cried when they saw this scene and the sad music. And yeah, I'm so glad that you brought that up, the music as well. The score is another part of what makes that scene so powerful. The music is just so palpable. It's just phenomenal. That's one of the best scenes in the entire show. One of the best scenes. Between that and Death of Father Cautry, those are probably my two favorite scenes overall. Just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful filmmaking, beautiful storytelling. All right, let's continue this. We got a little bit left.
We're running out of time and we still don't know the goddamn.
We're running out of time and we still don't know the goddamn rules. So yeah, looks like, again, I think the beginning of the season will probably be them trying to figure out those rules, figuring out those answers, trying to figure out what do we do next? What are we really up against too? And I think that's a big, big thing that the characters themselves need to have established for them. We as the audience, we've seen the Man in Yellow. You know, we know the threat. We know, you know, the kind of entrance that he made, but we're the audience. The characters themselves, they haven't seen the Man in Yellow yet. So that's going to be very interesting. The Man in Yellow actually being revealed to the town, like the town, the characters actually figuring out about him, not just the audience. And at that point, hopefully, you know, the threat gets established and then they can kind of maybe get a better understanding as to what they're up against, maybe. But yeah, this is, it's going to be fun. I mean, for me, one thing that I am looking forward to most, and I would love to know what you guys think in the comment section. Please let me know what you guys think. When it comes to the Man in Yellow, which character would you like to see have a scene with the Man in Yellow the most? That is one thing that I want to know from you guys in the chat. Out of all the characters that we have here on Fromville, what character do you want to see share a scene with the Man in Yellow the most? For me, I have a tough time not going right to Boyd, you know, because, you know, Boyd is Boyd. Like we've seen the level of the threat that the Man in Yellow is. And how Jim was just no match for him at all. Jim was no match for him whatsoever. But Boyd's a little bit different. Boyd's got a little bit more fight in him. So I think for me, like seeing a scene between Boyd and the Man in Yellow, that would be super freaking cool. That's something I want to see, just as a fan. Yeah, in my opinion, he has the hardest job in the whole series. I 100% agree with you, Doug. In terms of Scott McCord, yeah, I 100% agree. I think, you know, the nuance of the character that he's playing, that is not an easy role for any actor to play. Like, that's an incredibly tough role to get to that level. And I would love to wonder, like, did he do any research beforehand? Like, did he research, you know, like the prolonged effects of isolation, the prolonged effects of what trauma does to children and how it affects you growing up? I would love to know, like, what he did to kind of cultivate this character that we know as Victor, because it's so nuanced. And I do believe it is probably the hardest acting job on the show. You're 100% right. I agree with you, man. It's just so incredible to see the character that he's crafted and to see the acting performance behind it. Oh, you'd want to see one with Donna. Okay. Scenes that we would want to see. Which characters do we want to see share a scene with the Man in Yellow? Ethan. Okay. Ethan would be an interesting one. Donna would be another interesting one. Jade and Tabby. Yeah, Jade and Tabby. I imagine that's probably inevitable at some point. I mean, one of the first things the Man in Yellow mentions when he pops up is, boy, that Jade sure can play. So he clearly knows Jade and Tabby. So I imagine they'll probably get a scene together at some point. Sarah is gonna F him up. Man, that's gonna be a tough task for Sarah. Although we've seen what Sarah is capable of too, so I guess we can't put too much past Sarah. And that one thing I thought was pretty funny in season 3, how Victor, you know, Victor's been here for what, 40 plus years. He's seen all manner of nightmares and creatures, and I love how he goes to Sarah when it comes to trying to get the doll to talk, because he says Sarah's the scariest thing in here. You're the scariest thing here. And that's just really funny in terms of like how maybe Sarah is perceived, I guess, in some towns where Victor sees like Sarah as like the scariest thing here, not the monsters. So I thought that was just funny. I thought that was funny. But yeah, who do you guys want to see share a scene with the Man in Yellow? Boyd or Randall? Ooh, Randall, that's a good one. That's a good one, definitely. Victor, yeah, I think Victor, sharing a scene with him would be really, really cool. Another one with Jade, yes. Donna, she needs a man. Now, what a pairing that would be. The Boy in White, yes, May Kent. That would be super interesting, because I think a lot of people do have like at least a little bit of a notion or a theory that, you know, the Boy in White and the Man in Yellow are potentially on opposing sides. So yeah, that would be very interesting if they were to have a scene together, boy in white and the man in yellow. The symmetry of it alone is fun for sure. Yeah, Victor, but he lets Victor live. That would be good. That would be ideal. Yeah, boy in white would be amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Victor is my favorite. Jade second, then Donna. Ooh, awesome. Yeah, for me, I think my favorite character is Jade. I just love what David Alpay has done with Jade. He's such a fun character. And then probably Scott McCord is Victor and Harold Perrineau is Boyd. I think those three. That's the thing. I love every character on this show. There really isn't a character that I don't like. I love all of these characters. They're all so freaking good. A scene with the man in yellow is probably a death scene. It could be, or not. Or it could be a taunting scene where he's kind of establishing his presence. Maybe, for sure. We could see. Was the man in yellow in the chat? Yes, the man in yellow was in the chat. He's hanging out with us a little bit. Doug is a super, super awesome member of the community. He's frequented a lot of these channels. He's been on this channel before. He's been on many of the other From channels. He's very in tune with the fandom. And I love seeing that, like just from an actor and everyone on From. That was one thing I always really enjoyed from the very beginning. The cast has always been very interactive with the fans. And that is so freaking cool. There's not a lot of shows out there that you get this level of access to the talent. It just doesn't happen very often. So that's one thing I've always loved about Doug and the rest of the cast. Like they really do make themselves available to the fans. And the time we had him on here was my favorite From stream I've ever had. But yeah, I love that about this cast. This cast genuinely cares about the fans. They don't just say they care about the fans. This cast genuinely cares about the fans. And they've proven that every season, every single season. Victor and the man in yellow seem to have history. I mean, if that drawing is any indication, right, Samuel? Yeah. I mean, it looks like maybe there is some kind of history there. Maybe Victor, like we were saying earlier, maybe Victor will have some kind of memory return to him that maybe he has seen the man in yellow before. Maybe he's even interacted with the man in yellow before. So yeah, it definitely looks like he knows something about him. And yeah, I think that's going to be a theme that we'll continue seeing. Victor just uncovering more and more memories as the story goes. Can't answer that because then you'll know who I'm crushing on. Yeah, he can't. Unfortunately, Doug can't answer the question himself. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Love it. Yeah, I love them all too, right? I mean, yeah, it's the best cast. It is the best cast on television right now. It really is. Just leaps and bounds. The best freaking cast on television. And I'm so grateful for this show. I'm so freaking grateful for all of them. Love it. Yeah, wild horses couldn't drag it out of me, Nicole. Nope, his lips are sealed. The man in yellow is not talking. I get the feeling the man in yellow has a high threshold for pain, so I don't think we're going to get anything out of him, guys. I think he's going to hold strong. Good stuff. All right, let's continue the rest of this.
Goddamn rules.
Again, Julie kind of continuing to practice with some of her story walking capabilities. I think we'll see some of that.
Is no way.
Here we see a nighttime scene. We see one of the monsters coming around the corner, and here we see what appears to potentially be Kenny and Sophia. And maybe this is early on. One thing that we have always seen is that when new characters enter the town of Fromville, there's an adjustment period there. There's a little bit of an adjustment until they finally fully realize like what they've actually stepped into, what this place actually is, and what the threats and that the threats are actually real. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is maybe early on in the season when Sophia is, because Kenny has always kind of been that character that has kind of broken people in, for lack of a better term. When Jade first arrives, Kenny is the one that is there trying to kind of reacclimate him. When Acosta arrives, Kenny's the one that tries to reacclimate her. So, Kenny just seems to have taken on that role where he kind of helps people acclimate to this place. So I think we'll probably see him do the same for Sophia. And this is probably him doing something similar here, like trying to get her to realize, like, no, listen to me. The threat is real, as we see her outside at night. So it could be something like that.
To fight back.
Or who knows? Could be something totally different.
Against those things.
You see Julie outside at night as well, seeing the nightmare creatures walk through the forest. Got a quick little glimpse of the waitress, the little waitress monster, the one that was, the waitress monster had one of my favorite scenes in season 3. And I know we talked a little bit about this on just our previous stream, but I love the scene between this waitress monster and Boyd when she's dangling the keys in front of Boyd. And she's trying to make Boyd decide, do you want these keys or do you want to save Randall? If you want to get out of here, you're going to have to leave Randall behind. And just the reaction of Boyd, the way that he says F you like 100 times. Love that scene.
You looking for these?
Motherfucker!
Take them. We get to keep Randall, though. You can't save them all.
Fuck you! Fuck you! Motherfuckers! Fuck you! Boy! Boy, did you leave me a piece of shit?
I love that scene. Love that fucking scene. Boyd, don't you leave me here, you piece of shit. And I think that'll be a very interesting few scenes between Boyd and Randall, actually. Like when we do get back to, like what kind of relationship is going to continue between Boyd and Randall? Is Randall going to continue to hold a grudge against Boyd, for leaving him behind? That'll be pretty interesting. That will be interesting. So we have so much to look forward to, guys. We really do. We have so much to look forward to this season. This is going to be a great season, I think. All right, let's continue.
Done. Every sacrifice we've made. None of us are going anywhere.
Oof, every sacrifice we've made. Now, I did see a lot of people talking about the kind of paranormal activity style stuff that we're seeing happening here in the trailer, which it does look like that is the case. We got cabinets and stuff flying around. And it looks like one of these maybe events release this ring that we see Boyd, that we see in Boyd's hand later on. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, as it has a very interesting symbol on it. Very interesting symbol on this ring. So let's see what else we got.
None of us are going anywhere.
None of us are going anywhere. And I mean, is it me, or does Boyd have like a little bit of a different look in his eye this season? We saw at the beginning of the trailer, even Boyd is starting to question himself, where he's starting to wonder, like he's starting to be afraid of what he's turning into. And I don't know, it just seems like we got a little bit of a different look in Boyd's eye this season. Almost like he's getting closer and closer to kind of losing it. And that's going to be so fun to see Harold kind of play that out as Boyd's nerves continue to fray. And if the Parkinson's continues to make him weak as well. I think it's going to be a lot of interesting moments for some really good scenes with Harold. Really, really good stuff. The show's ending will leave a mark in TV history. I mean, when this show is all said and done, after every season is done, after it's all over, I do agree. I do think so. I think this is going to be one of those shows that only grows in popularity as the years go by, as the years go on, for sure. This is one of those unique shows that doesn't come around too often. So yeah, I do agree with that. I think the show is going to leave its mark. Let's see what else we got.
Going anywhere.
Now here we see Boyd and Acosta kind of going at it. We did see that one little scene later on in the trailer. It looks like at some point somebody does take the ambulance for a little bit of a joyride. And could that maybe be Acosta? Is this maybe Boyd? And here we see the spike strip right behind her. And we also see Kenny laying the spike strip out at one point in the trailer as well. Does Acosta potentially steal the ambulance in some frantic attempt to try and leave? And they have to kind of lay out the spike strip to stop her. And this is Boyd pulling her out of the ambulance, maybe? I don't know. Could be. Or it could be something totally different. But it does look like she just hit that spike strip. It looks... And here we see the door open, almost like he just... Excuse me. Here we see the door open, almost as if he kind of just pulled her out of the driver's seat.
Thank you so much.
And a lot of people have been wondering, is there going to be some kind of schism in the town at some point in season 4? Are we going to see some kind of factions split off? A lot of people have theorized that Acosta is going to be a big problem for Boyd in season 4, that she's going to kind of be a big thorn in Boyd's side. And maybe we're seeing some evidence of that. Maybe we're seeing some potential foreshadowing of a Boyd versus Acosta showdown. Because I have to imagine at this point, Acosta, really is not a fan of Boyd. She saw what he did to Elgin at the end of season 3, and we saw how against that she was. So yeah, I think we're going to see some very interesting tensions between Acosta and Boyd this season, for sure. For sure. Love it. Yeah, and I 100, and this is, I cannot reiterate this enough, 100%. Many people criticize the show for not giving answers quick enough, but I find 5 seasons too short. It's not about the end, it's all about the dance, and I'm loving it. And that's one thing we always try to remember. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. The journey is the part. The journey is the fun part. Seeing the journey that these characters go on, seeing how much it changes them, seeing the trauma that they have to go through, seeing the isolation, the loneliness, the loss, the grief, the guilt, everything that these characters have heaped on them. For me, that is the most important part of the show, the characters and their storyline. The mystery is fun. And yes, of course, we want to get some answers to some of these mysteries. But at the end of the day, for me, it's the characters that are really, really special, and the personal journeys that they are going on, and some of the lessons that we can learn from some of these characters' journeys. That is what is really great about a show like this. The mystery is great too, don't get me wrong. But, there's so many good lessons you can learn from some of these characters and from some of these storylines. And that is what the show is about at the end of the day, for me personally. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. 100% agree with you, Martin. 100,000,000%. And we have such a good cast of characters here to see the journey that they go on. And they've been going on quite a crazy journey. It looks like it's going to get only freaking crazier this season. But yeah, it looks like we're going to have some trouble here between Acosta and Boyd. Looking forward to that.
You think you're some kind of hero?
You think you're some kind of hero?
You're a monster.
You're a monster. And again, following that similar kind of theme that Boyd was saying at the beginning of the trailer when he goes to see his wife, Abby, how he tells her he's afraid of what he might be turning into. So again, I think we're going to see a lot of self-reflection from Boyd this year. But here we see Boyd with that ring. Now, we saw that ring earlier in the trailer when we saw the little paranormal activity style stuff happening inside the house. It looks like a ring might have popped out of maybe one of the cabinets. But here we see this ring, although the ring landed on a stair, so those might be 2 totally different scenes entirely, actually. The very clever editing in these trailers often make it look like something is happening when something totally different is actually happening. Those might be 2 totally different scenes. Because what we see Boyd here has the ring in his hand, and we see the infinity symbol, the circular 8, which is usually a symbol for the infinity sign. A never-ending loop is what it's meant to represent. And I think a lot of us kind of are, getting at least a theory that maybe that is a representation of the never-ending cycles that are happening in Fromville. This history that just seems to be repeating itself in a loop over and over and over again. It could be just a symbol of that. Yeah, exactly. The infinity symbol, same one we saw in the caves. Exactly. Absolutely. But yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure. Jeremy, I'm curious if you have talked about the Bicycle Day release date at all. Anyone else think that day is relevant in town? Ooh, I haven't thought of that myself. No, I have not. I cannot say I have. Not an expert on the subject. No, I haven't thought of that. If there's any correlation, no clue. Very much no clue. Is that the infinity symbol what is happening with the road too? That could very well be it as well. Absolutely. I mean, these roads do kind of just go in a circle. in a loop. You know, you leave one and you always end up back where you started. So yeah, it could be that. Could be that. I like that. Oh, and I love this. Okay, this is exciting. This is super exciting. I think one of the cleverest aspects of the writing for this series is the way that the characters find their answers in real time with the viewers. And that is always fun. I mean, it's one thing for us to know something as the audience, but when the characters don't also know it, it's sometimes not as exciting. I don't want to say not as exciting. It's just a different feeling, I guess you could say. But when you have that feeling of us as the audience finding something out while the characters also find it out, that is a pretty cool feeling. And those are some of the revelations that I'm hoping we're going to get this season. But yeah, love that. Very well said. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's see where else we got. We got only a little bit left to go here.
You're a monster.
Monster. There he is, guys. There he is. The menacing smile, the menacing laugh, the nasty teeth, the yellow suit. I mean, for a character that's only been on screen for what, like 40 something seconds, I believe, this character has already become so iconic. You know, the look, the mannerisms, all of it just already has become such an iconic character. And here we see him with a good old grin on his face. Very much looks like he's enjoying himself, the man in yellow this season. Love it. And here we go. Here is the scene that we were talking about earlier, where we see what appears to be some kind of bloody knapsack hanging from the motel sign. And this was something that we did theorize earlier. Before the trailer came out, we did get a few stills that were released through interviews that Screen Rant did and that Collider did. And the one that Collider released was a picture of Boyd, Tabitha, and Jade standing, right around here. They were standing right around this area. You could see the motel pole for the sign just in sight. You could see the pool behind them. And we could see behind them what looked to be a rope tied from the fence going upward, which led me to believe that it was most likely going to the motel sign. I mean, there's really nowhere else that rope could have been going given the layout of the town. And here we see a little sack covered in blood, dripping blood. We see some blood here on the ground as well. So this is going to be very interesting. Is this potentially how we find out Jim died? Not we, but is this potentially how the characters find out that Jim has died? Is this potentially part of Jim's body hanging from this motel sign? Or is it some other person's body? I don't know, but it looks to be something bloody in that knapsack hanging from this motel sign. I think it could be Jim's head. I mean, it could be, right? You look at the size of the bag, you look at the size. I mean, it clearly is not big enough to be his whole body. It's just not big enough. But yeah, maybe it's his head. Maybe. I don't know. But I can't wait to find out. Cannot wait to find out. This is going to be such a fun season. Yeah. Going to be very fun season. Yeah, that's the thing. It looks a little bit bigger than maybe just the head too. I mean, I guess it's hard to get really the perspective and the perception, considering, you don't really have a great sense of scale from this angle. The scale is kind of tough. So I suppose that sack could be head size, or it could be a little bit bigger. It's really hard to scale it without a person being in view as well. But yeah, I mean, judging by some of the other stuff, some of the other aspects, I mean, it could be a little bit bigger than just the head. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, could be. Jim has a big Star. Star is the president of the Jim fan club. Star loves Jim. But yeah, it's pretty big, right? I mean, yeah, it could be. Yeah, maybe it could be potentially big enough. Who knows? Who knows? But something clearly gruesome or grisly or bloody, at the very least, is hanging from the motel sign, and that will be very fun to see. Looks like Boyd comes and sees it. We see Boyd running down the road here, seeing it. And then it looks like you have Tabitha. And now see the way that they're rushing out of the house and the way that Ethan runs up towards it and how Boyd has to kind of grab him up. This tells me, obviously, it looks like this is most likely the next morning. We know that Tabitha and Jade come back to town, and they're just assuming that Jim was going to come back to town as well. And then we see that one little snippet of Julie telling Tabitha, "Where's Dad? It's getting dark." We see it starting to get dark, and Jim still isn't back to town. So it looks like again, they probably go that whole night wondering where Jim is. And the next morning they see this, so naturally they run out to see what the commotion is. So this is going to be devastating. If that really is what's going on here, if the man in yellow really did string up Jim's body from this motel sign, or a part of his body to find, maybe, I know some people think he might have thrown the rest of it in the barn based on that one little scene we get of Tabitha opening the barn door and being really devastated after what she sees. But either way, I mean, this is going to be gnarly. This is going to be freaking gnarly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, could Jim's body be in the pool and his head be maybe hanging from that little sack maybe? Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, this is going to be tough. I think it's going to be very devastating for Tabitha, Julie, and Ethan to eventually, you know, however the case is, however it gets revealed to them, at some point they will eventually find out that Jim's dead. And that's going to be so devastating. It's going to be so devastating. That's going to be a very interesting scene. But yeah, looking forward to seeing this. Very much looking forward to seeing this. Now, this was an interesting one. You know, we see here, right here, we got Fatima dealing with some nasty looking muck. This is very weird, very strange indeed. Let's see if we can do this. Playback speed. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's take a closer look. Slow look. Almost like she's like packing something, you know, like very strange there. What Fatima's doing here. Very strange. And I think Fatima's storyline is going to be kind of interesting. We saw that at some point when she was giving birth to this smiley creature, she somehow managed to access some of his memories or have a vision or something that gave her those answers that we got in terms of finding out that the monsters were really human at one point. They sacrificed their children and all of that. But part of me has always wondered, is there going to be some other kind of connection that is maybe still there between Fatima and Smiley, or Fatima and the monsters? Is there some kind of latent connection between the two that she can utilize, that she can maybe learn more from, I guess, is the question. But yeah, I mean, yeah, could it be pottery? Could it be some pottery, some clay? Someone said, yeah, maybe. Is she still eating garbage? It says Big Heck. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, packing some lunch for Smiley. Yeah. Ooh, a statue. Interesting. I mean, we know she is very creative. Yeah, could she be doing some sculpting here? Maybe that's an interesting possibility as well. Taryn, yes, I like that. I like that idea. Very cool. Very cool. Awesome stuff. Okay, next we have Tabitha and Henry walking up to one of the bottle trees. And here we go. Very interesting. This almost looks to be a new one. This doesn't look to be any of the bottle trees we've seen yet. So this looks like this is a new bottle tree that we haven't seen before. It doesn't look like it's a faraway bottle tree. It looks like it's just one of those regular bottle trees that Boyd and Tabitha, similar to the one that Boyd and Sarah saw, at the end of season 1 when they were in the woods. So yeah, it looks like we got another bottle tree to be discovered. Now I wonder, they kind of deciphered the music notes that were in some of these bottles in the bottle faraway tree. But I'm trying to look here. I can't quite see if there are anything in these bottles. It almost looks like these bottles are empty, where the other ones had notes in them. Although it's really hard to tell though, so I don't want to say anything for certain. But either way, we got Tabitha and Henry walking up to a bottle tree, for sure. I wonder if Fatima will tell anyone that she ate blood, or will she keep it hidden? Not only will she tell everyone that if she ate blood or keep it hidden, but what about her killing Tilly as well? Like, Fatima killed Tilly at the end of the day. What is going to happen to that? Is the town going to find out about that? Is that going to be something that is going to be weighing heavily on her mind in season 4? Is that some guilt that she's going to have to be dealing with in season 4 as well? Because yeah, again, she might not have been in her right mind at the time, but Fatima did kill Tilly. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. Will Boyd try to cover it up? I get the feeling he probably will, maybe. It seems like that was his initial reaction, at least in season 3. His initial response was to cover it up. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out, and will the guilt that Fatima feels from that at some point become a little too much to bear, maybe. So yeah, that'll be very interesting to see. Very interesting to see. But yeah, we got them here again, taking a look at the bottle tree, which again looks like a different bottle tree than what we've seen in the past. Henry looking up at it, and here we see Kenny laying out the spike strips, which again, this is most likely a earlier part of the scene that we saw earlier of what seems to be anyway Acosta, blanked on her name for a minute, sorry. Acosta taking the ambulance van and going for a little joyride, as it were. It seems like at some point Boyd has Kenny lay out the spike strips to stop good old Acosta's joyride. So interesting. Or then again, it could be laying out the spike strips for Sophia's arrival as well. We know that they tend to like to do that. When new arrivals show up, Boyd and Kenny tend to let them drive around for a little while until they finally start to realize that something is really off. We've been driving in circles, and then they usually lay out the spike strips. So I suppose this could be for the ambulance, or it could be for Sophia's arrival as well. Could be either or. Could be either or, I suppose. Because again, here we go. We get that shot of the ambulance going on that joyride, which from that earlier shot, it looks like Acosta might be the one driving that ambulance. So I don't know. Maybe she just gets to the point where she feels like she just wants to get the hell out of here. Because here it looks like we have a completely different car crashing into Boyd's sheriff station, which is most likely the car that Sophia and her father arrived in. I get the feeling that is probably what we're seeing. Maybe two different instances where the spike strips are used. One for the ambulance and Acosta, and one for Sophia and her father. And it looks like it sends them right into Boyd's sheriff station, unfortunately. Boom! Boom! Boyd's digs. Boyd's digs are shattered now, ladies and gents. He cannot sleep here anymore. Talisman ain't going to keep him safe with that opening, I don't think. So yeah, I don't know. It's just my guess. I get the feeling this is most likely Sophia and her father's car smashing into the sheriff's station there. Yeah. Acosta is driving Elgin to the clinic. That could be a possibility as well. Yeah, that could definitely. Although we do get that one little clip of what appears to be Christy, what looks to be Christy addressing Elgin's eye in Colony House. It looks like he's he's sitting on a bed in Colony House, and Christy goes there to treat his eye. It looks like we get a little snippet of that in the 30-second teaser. Although it could be that they also want to bring him to the medical clinic to get more supplies, or maybe, it's just a better place to do it, maybe. So it could be that as well. But it looks more like Acosta's going on some kind of joyride, just based on the way Boyd yanked her out of the vehicle. Were they able to save Elgin's eye? I doubt it. I doubt it. Were they able to save Elgin's hanging eye? I doubt it. I very much doubt that they'll be able to save that eye. I think that's a goner. I think that eye is a goner. Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense to see Sophia with scratches. Yeah, if this was the car accident, that could make sense. I mean, wouldn't it be like super tragic and ironic if her father died in this car accident and didn't even get killed by the monsters? Like, imagine going through all of this place, getting stuck in this place of Fromville, only to die in a simple car accident. Like, just the irony alone would be kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. Kind of funny. But who knows? Yeah, the crow's Elgin's. Oh, God. Hope not. All right, let's see what else we got. Here we got, looks like two bodies being buried. Now, could this potentially be maybe Jim and Sophia's father? Or could Sophia potentially have been traveling with more than one person? Could Sophia have been with her father and her mother, maybe? Could these be Sophia's parents, perhaps? I mean, burying them right next to each other could be Sophia's parents, or maybe it is just one's Jim and one is Sophia's dad, potentially. But if nothing else, it does at least give us the question. I know a lot of us did have a question as to whether or not we were going to get a funeral for Jim in season 4. So I guess if one of these bodies is Jim, at least we know he'll be getting a little bit of a send off. Jim and Sophia's dad. Yeah, I think it could be. I think it could be. Again, unless there was somebody else maybe in that car and Sophia was traveling with more than just her father, could be Sophia's dad and Jim. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's see what else we got. Fear what you become. Now that's interesting. That is very interesting. Fear what you become. Now, especially knowing what we know about the monsters, knowing that the monsters were literally human at one point. They were humans that became monsters. So when I see this tagline of fear what you become, I don't know why, it just gives me that kind of inkling of turning into something. Fear what you become. And I think it could also feed into Boyd's storyline as well. We talked a little bit earlier about the dialogue we hear from Boyd at the beginning of the trailer, where he straight up says he's afraid of what he's becoming. So I think that could be a very interesting theme that will be spread throughout the season as a whole, where not just Boyd, but other characters are going to be afraid of what they could potentially be turning into. So I think that could be a fun little theme for the show, maybe. We shall see. But looks like we do have a funeral coming, if nothing else. And there is good old Clara, as always. She never fails to disappoint us. Whenever we get one of these group freaking photos, Clara is always there in the background somewhere. And sure as shit, there she is again. Oh, yeah, right. There she is, right? There's good old Clara there in the left. Very funny. She's always there. Clara is always around. All right, and we see the crows flying overhead. Everyone looking up at the crows. Crows are showing up for the funeral. And here we see what seems to be Sophia and Kenny praying, probably not long after Sophia arrived. And we do get that dialogue from Sophia saying, help us. We're stuck in this place surrounded by evil. Whoops.
Lord, please protect us in this dark place where evil roams so freely.
Please protect us in this dark place where evil roams so freely. And boy, do we get quite a few good scenes while that dialogue is playing. Let's go back here. Bada bang. Let's see what else we got. You got Fatima in the shower. She's definitely looking like she's a little bit out of it. We got Boyd and Ellis embracing while and again, Harold Perrineau was just such a good actor. The way that he's able to convey so much just with simple facial expressions and body language. So this embrace looks very interesting here. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what's going on in the scene and what exactly has Boyd so devastated in this moment. Awesome stuff. Let's see what else all right, now here we go, guys. Here we go. We got Ellis in there. We got a few others in here. And we see this freaking thing blasting. Oh, Tabitha's with them as well. I forgot about that. That's right. Tabitha is in there as well. And it looks like even Ethan is in there. Okay, this is getting interesting now. A lot of us have been wondering what exactly is going on with this new ruined settlement. Who built it and why? What's the purpose? I'm so glad that we're going to be getting some information on this new ruined settlement this season. This looks awesome. But here we have that creature that we saw earlier, that weird kind of scarecrow-esque type creature that seemed to come alive, smashing into the cabins, just completely smashing into the cabins. Someone in the Discord earlier, I think it was Palmas Shelby, that said, he smashed into the cabins, totally like the Kool-Aid Man. And that is exactly what it reminded me of as well. Like, this is full on From's version of the Kool-Aid Man bursting through the freaking fence. So this is going to be interesting to see. It looks like we are going very, very far into weird supernatural territory in season 4. Looks like it's going to be very, very weird. Love that. Where was that? The cabin in the woods. Yeah, I think this is the cabin in the woods. The not the cabin in the woods, but the ruined settlement, the new settlement that they discovered in season 3. How it has all those huts and all those cabins. We saw some of our characters spend the overnight there in season 3 when they were going on the food runs, and it looks like this is probably something similar there, where they're going on a food run, because we do have to remember that this settlement is pretty far away from town. They don't have enough time to get all the way there and all the way back before it gets dark. So anytime someone goes on a food run, usually they have to spend the night here and then travel back the next morning, which is why they usually bring a talisman with them. But one thing we have seen, the talismans do not protect against everything. We had a talisman hanging in that shed in season 3, and the kimono creature showed right up in there nonetheless. The talisman did not keep the kimono creature out of Colony House either. So it seems like the talismans only work on the monsters. Some of this other stuff that we're seeing, it seems like the talisman has no effect on them. And maybe that's where the totems come in. Maybe that's where we see these totems that are surrounding this place or that are hanging up at this place. Maybe those totems were keeping this thing at bay. Maybe Jade removing that one totem and knocking it over is what released this thing or gave it access to kind of, wreak havoc. But yeah, it looks like we get a food run at some point in season 4, and they're going to have to spend the night there. And something is coming and knocking at one of the cabins. Crazy. Yeah, talismans did not work here. Talismans did not work here. Yeah, freaking Jade. Yeah. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And it looks like the thing walks in and completely starts just beating on them. Like it walks right up to one of them and starts hammering on them. Starts punching, like it's getting ready to punch one of them. Like, what the fuck is going on here? What is going on in season 4? Oh my God. This is crazy. Yeah, this thing is going full on. That's full on ground and pound. Anyone who's an MMA fan, you know what I'm talking about. That is full on, full mount ground and pound stance right there. And he's going ham. Whop. Here we got Fatima breaking the window on one of these abandoned cars. And here we go. The man in yellow after he's taken off his suit. And here we see him, again, potentially maybe transforming into something. Does the man in yellow potentially have shape-shifting capabilities? Maybe. It looks like we see his body kind of contorting. It almost looked like his hair is a little bit longer here. Look how long his hair is. His hair was not that long in season 3. So there's a lot going on here with this man in yellow that we still really need to learn. There's so much about this character that we just don't know. A lot of great theories out there. Like, I love all the theories that are out there. But in terms of like actually knowing, there's so much about this character that we still don't know. And I cannot wait to learn more about him. Who is he? Why is he here? What role is he going to play? But it does look like he is potentially shape-shifting maybe into something. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? Oh my God. Wait a minute. I think I just spotted something. Yes. Is this this is the suitcase that was in the caves in season 2, ladies and gentlemen. When Tabitha and Victor are down in the caves at the beginning of season 2, remember Tabitha comes up on a suitcase with a dress in it, and it's got all these very similar stickers on it. Look, this might be that same suitcase. The man in yellow literally might just be back here changing clothes, changing his shape, and changing his outfit at the same time. As we see, he's got his suit off right here. So yeah, we got some interesting stuff happening here. Yeah, the suitcase that Tabby found the wedding dress in, right? I mean, it looks very similar to that suitcase, right? Looks very similar. So yeah, maybe the man in yellow is doing a quick little change of wardrobe as he shapeshifts into another form. Love it. Absolutely love this. Season 4 is going to be so fun. Season 4 is going to be fun. Yeah, you see the long hair? See the long hair? He's growing long hair. I mean, is he potentially shape-shifting into another character maybe? We do see at one point in the trailer, Jim does make a cameo. We see Jim talking to Ethan. Obviously, Jim's dead, so it's not really Jim. Could it be the man in yellow maybe? I don't know. Don't know. We got Julie peeping the monsters. Now, when I saw this, I got super excited thinking, oh man, the nurse monster's back. The same nurse monster from season 2. And then I quickly realized that this is just a scene from season 2, a flashback to when Boyd was trying to use the bile bullets. So I saw this and got super excited because I loved this actress playing the nurse monster. Because she was just so creepy in season 2. They recast the nurse monster in season 3. A different actress played her, and she did phenomenal as well. Like, she was freaking great too. But I loved the just aesthetic of this nurse monster. She looked like one of the creepiest monsters I'd ever seen. But this is not a new scene. This is a flashback to season 2. Now here we have Jade down in the caves, and it looks like he is very much going through it. And again, I love how Jade is, I'm hoping anyway, it looks like Jade is going to be looking for answers this season. After that revelation at the end of season 3, it looks like, he is going to try and want to figure this out, while I imagine Tabitha probably tries to avoid it for as long as she can. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what's going on down in these caves with Jade. But let me know, what do you guys think? What is going down here? What is going on with Jade in the caves? What is happening? Because it looks like a second later, we see, I believe, the monsters start to show up and start to surround him. And here we see all of the stones. So it looks like Jade has found the original location of the Ankui sacrifice. These are the original stones. Because we have to remember, in season 2, when Jade saw the stones, he saw a vision of them. It's not like the stones were actually in that room. It looks like this is a similar room. But here we have the actual stones, actually where the sacrifice took place. So I think this is going to be very interesting. And I think I think we're going to get a lot of answers through Jade this season. I know, right? I really hope he's not killed. Please, please do not take out Jade. Jade is like one of the only characters I really don't want to lose. But yeah, it looks like the monsters are surrounding him, and it looks like even one of them starts touching him, like they reach out to grab him. Yep. See, we got they're reaching out to grab him. Oh, it's not looking good for Jade. Oh my god. I swear, if something happens to Jade, I'm gonna be very disappointed. Very disappointed. We got the mechanic monster putting his hand on Jade's shoulder here, grabbing him up. What is going on here? I guess, what do you guys think? Will Jade survive this encounter? Or could this actually be it for Jade? Because I believe we get one more scene of him on the ground screaming while he's looking up at something, most likely the monsters. See him get grabbed up. Oof. Is this Ethan near the RV? Yes, we got Ethan with the RV in the background. Could they actually find Jim's body out here by the RV? Ooh, maybe. I mean, what is really going on? Oh, no, here we go. That's right. Brain fart. Sorry. That's right. So I'm wondering if this is maybe Ethan returning to the RV, going to the RV, and this is where he has this vision of Jim returning to him. But is it a vision, or is it the man in yellow disguising himself as Jim, I guess is the question. But yeah. Looks like we are going to get an Ian Bailey cameo, if nothing else. We are going to get an Ian Bailey cameo in season 4. But again, I would be very surprised if this is actually Jim. It's most likely this is very similar to some of the other encounters that we've seen, maybe, or maybe it is the man in yellow in disguise, disguising himself as Jim. Or a dream. Yeah, it could be a dream as well. Could be a dream or a vision. Definitely could be a dream/vision as well. Very possible. Yeah, Ethan's got some yellow on himself. I think that's probably just coincidence, though. But yeah, looks like we are going to get a Ian Bailey cameo. Looking forward to that. Now, this one is good. We got Elgin with the frickin' stank eye. He's all messed up. And yeah, I get the feeling that eye is long gone. There's no chance that eye was going to be able to be saved. But this is interesting. This is very interesting dialogue with Elgin telling Boyd that the truth always gets out.
Always comes out.
I will make sure it doesn't.
I'll make sure it doesn't. Oof. Yeah, I mean, again, you start to wonder, are we going to see a little bit of a different, or a lot of a different Boyd than we've seen in the past? Are we going to see Boyd maybe not be so afraid to kind of cross certain lines that he maybe wouldn't have crossed earlier? As he starts to get closer and closer to that breaking point, how is he going to be able to handle it? Again, I think it's going to be a very, very rough season for Boyd. It's going to be, if season 3 was rough for him in and of itself, but I think season 4 is going to be a lot rougher on Boyd than even season 3 was. Here we got this interesting scene. Now it's hard to tell whose eyes this is. It's hard to tell, but I'd love to know what you guys think in the chat. Who is this exactly? At first, I almost thought it was Randall, but I don't think it is. Looks like it's maybe longer hair, maybe someone else. Hard to tell. But next, we got some interesting stuff. Here we see this same shot that we saw in season 3 of young Tabitha being scared to death by something that she's looking up at here. And it looks like Kenny. Yeah, it could be Kenny. Yeah, I think that's a good one. Yep, Kenny. Yep, probably Kenny. Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. But here I think we see Tabitha looking up at something that is clearly terrifying her. And let me know what you guys think in the chat. Could this be young Tabitha seeing that same scarecrow type thing? Could that be what scared Tabitha as a child? Is she looking up at that creepy thing that just crashed into Cannibal Village? Or is she looking up at something totally different altogether? Or the man in yellow as a spider? I know a lot of people really want to see the giant spider. Spidergate is very, very real, for sure. Spidergate is real. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what she's. Yeah, Mr. Kool-Aid. Yeah, Thomas Shelby in the chat earlier said he's full on. He did a full on Mr. Kool-Aid going through the fence, and he did. You're 100% right, Thomas. That's exactly what it reminds me of now when I see that freaking scene. Surprise! The freaking Kool-Aid man blasting through the fence. I don't know. There might be some people maybe too young to even remember the Kool-Aid man because he hasn't been around in a while. But yeah, those commercials were everywhere as a kid. Mr. Kool-Aid, good old Kool-Aid man. But yeah, I think she saw the Scarecrow doll. That's what I'm thinking as well. I mean, just because we're in that similar same area, and that's where we see the Scarecrow doll monster in the trailer. So yeah, I am wondering that. And even we saw that one shot of it earlier when it kind of reaches down and reaches out to like reach for something towards the ground. Maybe could that even be the scene in which where what Tabitha saw, it kind of reaching down for her maybe. Although then again, that scene was at night and this looks to be during the day, so it might not be that. But yeah, looks like we're finally going to figure out what was scaring young Tabitha as she looks over the painted rocks here. Here we see Julie, very, very much going through it. And here we see this. Now, I think this is the shot that has led some of us to believe that maybe Jim's head might be hanging from the motel sign in that bloody bag, while the rest of his body might actually get discovered here in the barn. Some people have seen this scene and they think that that could be what Tabitha is reacting to. And I suppose that's a possibility. I suppose that's definitely a possibility. But I mean, yeah, it looks like she's super devastated here. This definitely looks like the type of reaction that someone would have when finding out that their husband has been brutally slaughtered. Like, it does look like she is having that kind of a devastating reaction. So yeah, maybe this is her discovering Jim's body for the first time, maybe. Maybe. But yeah, she's going through it. She is going through it. And yeah, it's gonna be a tough season for the Matthews family, I think. It'll be a tough season for everybody, to be honest. And here we see the townsfolk kind of gathered behind them, almost like they're watching what's going on too. So clearly something big is going on here. We see the look on Jade's face, like he's looking like, what the fuck? Boyd doing everything he can to try and console Tabitha. So this damn barn has been the location of so much dark shit. Tien Chen's death, Ethan almost getting killed in season 1 by Sarah. Like, this barn has been the location of some dark moments on the show. So it looks like we're going to get some even more dark ones here in season 4 in this barn. Let's see. But yeah, she is devastated. Now, this is interesting. We got Marielle chained up in, it almost looks like she's maybe right there in the medical clinic, but it's really hard to tell. Now, I'm wondering if this could potentially be a dream or a vision. We know that Marielle, Randall, and Julie are still very much dealing with whatever happened to them when they were locked up in that cicada coma, however you want to refer to it. So I am wondering if is this an actual real scene, or is this a dream or a vision that maybe Marielle is having, reliving her trauma potentially? Or does she get captured and chained up at some point in season 4? Could it be real? I suppose it could be either or. Suppose it could be either or. Yeah, the man in yellow taking the shape of Jim to deceive people. Oh boy, yeah, that could be dicey. That could be very dicey. Very, very dicey. But yeah, Marielle definitely going through it here as well. Now this here, see, this is what scares me. Look at this little bones. Almost looks like the bone of a child's hand. Does Jade potentially find the real bodies of the Onkui children that were sacrificed? Could Jade actually have found the real sacrifice burial ground? And is this what we're seeing here in the background? If you look behind here, right behind Jade's head, hard to make out, but you can see that that clearly looks like finger bones. And they look very small too. They do not look like they are adult size. So could Jade potentially have found the location of the sacrifice? And could he have actually found the remains of the Onkui children? And we see him looking up. It's not looking good for him. I am very worried for Jade. I swear if Jade gets killed off while wearing his cat shirt, I am going to be very disappointed. I'm going to be very disappointed if Jade gets killed off wearing his cat shirt. But yeah, I don't know. I'm worried. I'm a little bit worried about Jade's longevity now. What is he wearing? He's wearing his cat shirt. Remember the shirt with all the cats on it that Jade wore in season 1? That's that same shirt. So he's got his cat shirt back on. But yeah, definitely looks a little bit dicey for Jade. Looks a little bit dicey for Jade. But we shall see. We shall see. Hopefully he can pull through. I really do not want to see Jade get killed off. Here we see something very interesting. We got Sarah reacting to some more voices, and behind her, what looks to be, this looks like Sophia. We did see in one of the behind-the-scenes photos when they first announced that Sophia was part of the cast, she was wearing this exact same outfit right here. So this is Sophia in the background, and it looks like she's probably coming to try and help Sarah out. And that's the thing, you know, Sarah was hearing so many voices in season 1, like left and right. Sarah was having all of these kind of episodes, and then it kind of went away for a little bit. She would only have like one every so often. They haven't really been talking to her as often nowadays. So I'm very much glad that this is still a thing, that Sarah is still going to be able to be hearing these voices in season 4. And it looks like she's really going through it here. And whatever they're telling her, I get the feeling it's not going to be pleasant. Get the feeling it's not going to be pleasant. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Let's see what else we got. Oof. Now this does not, oh man, poor Sophia. Poor Sophia. Now we saw that scene earlier of the cross, the POV of inside the car and the cross hanging from the mirror as that smashed into Boyd's police station. So it looks like we are going to see Sophia and her party crash into the sheriff's station after hitting the spike strips. And it looks like they end up in a pretty precarious position. I mean, Sophia is lucky. Sophia is lucky that she survived this. I mean, this is crazy. And here we see the Bible right next to it. So yeah, this is very interesting. Yeah, what is that hand doing? Yeah, I don't know. I have to imagine this is probably somebody else's hand reaching in to maybe try and help her. That's my guess anyway. Who knows? Just a guess. But yeah, here we go. We got again the crash looks like it's going to be pretty gnarly as they crash into Boyd's sheriff station. But looks like Sophia, at the very least, will survive with some cuts and bruises. We've got some cuts on her face, some cuts on her neck here from the glass. Again, it looks like this is one of those experiences where she is very fucking lucky, where she comes very close to getting decapitated by this broken windshield, maybe, but she lives. And maybe the rest of her party dies. Her father or whoever else is in the car with her, it looks like maybe they die in this car crash. Maybe they don't get killed by the monsters. But yeah, interesting. Very interesting. Oop. Here we see, okay, now this is interesting. Now, I kind of enjoyed some of the scenes we got between Randall and Sarah in season 3. I thought they had some interesting dynamics every once in a while, where, you know, they kind of have both. It's really just trauma bonding, really, I guess you could call it. They've both been through the same thing. There's really nobody else in town who can understand what they've been through other than 3 of them, because they're the only ones who really, really know. They went through it. And so this is interesting. I wouldn't be too surprised if we do see Randall start to play a little bit more of a kind of protective figure to Julie. I don't ever see any kind of romantic entanglement happening. I think Randall is very much aware that Julie's way too young for him. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see Randall take on like a big brother kind of role to Julie, where he kind of wants to keep her safe, maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. But yeah, I guess we'll see. And maybe this is her discovering that Jim's dead, maybe. All right, let's see what else we got. We also have this. Now, this was also a very interesting one. We got Henry here having like what appears to be a really bad migraine, which almost it almost looks like Henry is remembering something along with Victor. So this scene was very, very interesting to me. What exactly is going on with Henry here? And is he potentially having some kind of memory return to him as well? That will be very interesting. That will be very, very interesting. Do we see Sarah in the trailer? Yes, we do see Sarah in the trailer. We saw her just a few seconds ago. We only see her for a quick little glimpse, but we see her a quick little shot of her having a vision. Not a vision, a quick little shot of her hearing the voices that she used to hear right here. This is one of the only shots we get of Sarah in the actual trailer. We see Sarah here hearing the voices once again, and here we see Sophia behind her, probably coming up to her to try and console her or to try and help her. But yes, we do get a quick little glimpse of Sarah in the trailer. It looks like she is still going to be hearing the voices. I don't believe we see her anywhere else. I do believe this is the only shot of Sarah we get in the trailer, but we do see her, yes. We do see her. But yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. Oh, I'll take another look at 109 again. I didn't see Sarah at the funeral, and she wears boots. Any chance that could be Sarah? Oh, interesting. Interesting. That's a very interesting possibility, I suppose. Yeah, all right. Let's take a look. We'll take a look at 109, and then we will come back to where we are. 109. Is Sarah at the funeral? Let's see. Let us see. Did I pass one? Is it 109? Is that the right timestamp? Yeah, 109 and 110. All right, let's see. I don't know if that's the right timestamp of the funeral scene. Don't know if that's the right one. Let's see. Let us see. Speed, normal.
Rules. There is no way to fight back against those things. Everything.
Yeah, I don't think the funeral scene is at 109. I don't know if I don't think that's the right timestamp, but I think it's coming up soon.
You think you're some kind of hero? You're a monster.
Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, 144. There we go. Now, can we spot Sarah at the funeral? Now, even if we don't spot Sarah at the funeral, I mean, Sarah is very kind of antisocial too. I mean, it could just be potentially one of those things where Sarah just didn't go to the funeral. But the boots you bring up is an interesting. It's an interesting aspect. Again, nice eye if nothing else, catching at the boots. But the boots did look to be a little big. I don't know. I mean, it could be. I suppose it could be Sarah, but I'm still thinking it's most likely Jim or Sophia's father. But who knows? But yeah, it doesn't look like Sarah is at the funeral. It's really hard to tell. I mean, you got the letters here. It's hard to really tell who's there and who isn't. So it's just from this shot alone, I feel like we can't really be sure of that. But it's an interesting theory, nonetheless. Definitely an interesting theory, if nothing else. For sure. Yeah, Shoegate 2.0 is starting already. The Shoegate is starting. But yeah, I guess we'll find out. We will find out very, very soon. And yeah, Marielle does wear boots sometimes as well. That's also true. Yeah, a lot of our characters wear boots. So I feel like it's not really, can't really tell much just by looking at the boots. But yeah. Interesting stuff nonetheless, guys. Interesting stuff nonetheless. All right, let's finish this thing out. See these last few scenes. There's Sarah, there's Sophia, there's Jim. Randall consoling Julie. Here we see Fatima just destroying this car. And it looks like that could just be, Fatima just letting out some anger, maybe. Everybody needs to vent every now and then. And, if you need to let some aggression out, I suppose coming to the junkyard and just going ham on one of these old cars, could be a way to vent some of that frustration for Fatima. Again, Fatima's been through a lot. She literally gave birth to a monster. Fatima literally gave birth to a freaking monster. And not just any monster, Smiley. So, yeah, I think she's going to be dealing with some trauma and some PTSD this season, for sure. For sure. Yeah, boots. I know I need to cut a boots trailer. I need to cut a boots trailer for season 4, and I definitely will at some point, as soon as I have some time. But yeah, we got Fatima taking out some aggression, it looks like. And then we have Boyd seemingly looking like he's getting ready to punch someone. It almost looks like Boyd is gathering, like he's in the gather and getting ready to hit somebody on the ground in front of him. So this is going to be very interesting. Who exactly is Boyd potentially fighting here, I guess is the question. This is a scene I want to see. Who is Boyd potentially fighting? If he is fighting, that is. Again, it does look like he is getting ready to throw a punch, but you never know. You never know. You never know. Could be something else entirely. Although the look on his face, it almost looks like maybe he's seeing something on the ground and reacting to it, maybe. Like he's pulling himself back, like he's almost recoiling at what he's seeing. Or is he lunging forward, I guess is the question. It's really hard to tell. We don't really get enough of the scene to really know. But that's it. That's the final scene in the trailer. I'm going to play the whole thing from start to finish on regular mode one more time, just so anyone maybe who didn't see the whole thing in its entirety can see the whole thing from start to finish without interruption. Yeah, one more time. We played it a few times at the beginning of the stream, but it can never hurt to play it again. So here we go, folks. Here is the trailer in its entirety.
Something's different. I'm changing. I don't know if I like who I'm becoming.
Boyd, there are a lot of people wanting to know what happened down there.
Where's Dad? Why isn't he back yet?
Tabitha,
We need to talk.
It means everything they show us. It's real. I think they're doing it to make us afraid.
Well, then it worked.
There is something ancient here. And it's feeding off our suffering, and it doesn't stop.
We're losing. We're running out of time, and we still don't know the goddamn rules. There is no way to fight back against those things. Everything we've done, every sacrifice we've made, none of us are going anywhere.
You think you're some kind of hero? You're a monster.
Lord, please protect us in this dark place where evil roams so freely. This we ask in your name. Amen.
One way or another, the truth always comes out.
I will make sure it doesn't.
Whew, man, oh man. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a very, very fun season. And I love the ending credit scenes, how we see an upside down shot of the forest. We see the forest here, but we see it's an upside down shot of it, almost kind of giving us the indication that everything is going to be turned upside down this season. Everything is getting turned up. Everything is getting turned on its head. And I think that is very much a little symbolic gesture of that, where things are very much taking a turn for the worse this season. And I do think this is going to be the darkest season that we have seen by far. And yes, I cannot wait either, Doc. I cannot wait either. And I saw a few of you saying in the chat that that last scene of Boyd is him pulling the arm away from the grave. I think you're right. I think you're right. I think that's probably what it is. Yeah, there it was. I think that's probably him pulling himself away from that arm. We know he does visit Abby's grave. We know that something grabs him. So yeah, that's probably him, jerking and recoiling away from it. So I think you're right. I think that's probably what it is. But there we have it, folks. There we have it, folks. Just our first little initial breakdown of the 3 hours long, I know. But we will be doing so many streams on this show. I'll be doing tons of videos. As soon as I end the stream, actually, I'm going to be diving in and starting my season 3 trailer breakdown video and some theories that I'm working on. I'll try and have that up on the channel tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that tomorrow. But I'm going to try and go live, if not tonight again, either tonight or tomorrow night, one of the two. If I can't go live tonight, I will definitely go live tomorrow night, and we will do our part 2 of diving into this trailer after we've all had a time to kind of take a breath and dissect and marinate on it for a little while. And of course, I will let everybody know if we go live tonight or tomorrow in the Discord. So if you have not joined our Discord yet, hop on in there, join the Discord, and you'll always get notifications before anyone else before we go live. But there we have it, folks. From season 4 is officially just around the corner now, and it feels like we're back, doesn't it? It feels like we are back. The 30-second teaser we got was fun. Don't get me wrong, but now it feels like we're really back. Fromville has frickin' returned, and I cannot be more ecstatic. Super, super pumped. Super pumped. And big thank you to each and every one of you for joining us on this fine afternoon. I know it's a little bit of a different time than we usually stream, but once the trailers finally get here, that's usually when people like to start pouring in. So we will definitely be doing a lot more of these. Again, if I don't go live tonight, I will definitely go live tomorrow night, one of the two. But either way, I will let everybody know in the Discord. And if you guys haven't already, again, hop on into the Discord, join the biggest Discord, the biggest concentration of From fan theories that you might find anywhere online, and with some of the coolest people, absolutely coolest people that I've met in any fandom anywhere. I will drop a quick little link. Here is our link to our Discord. And yeah, big thank you for joining us this fine afternoon. And a big thank you to Nikki, and Robert Saunders for sending in super chats. Very, very much appreciate you guys. Cannot thank you enough. And thank you to all of you for all of the support. You guys have been super supportive of the channel over these last few years. And it really does mean the world to me. I love doing this. I love diving into all of this stuff with you guys. And it's always a ton of fun. And we are just getting started. But that is going to do it for us tonight or today, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you all either later on tonight or tomorrow night. But either way, my full trailer breakdown will be up on the channel tomorrow. So keep a lookout for that. And until next time, stay safe out there, ladies and gentlemen. Be kind to one another. Keep those tinfoil hats on, folks. And I will see you on the next one.
Okay, ding dongs. If you don't subscribe to Jeremy Eyes and Fire, you're gonna spend the night in the box.
Aren't Cooey